All right, guys, it's Brian. Yay! It's June 19th at around 10:15. And I'm just going to let this run for a little bit because I know that we haven't been on in quite some time, but no notice to you guys. So sorry about that. Um, just a lot of crap happened. So I figured I'd jump on it and catch you guys up. But it's been so long, I'm not even sure if anybody's going to join live anymore because I know how fickle people are, me included. So I'm going to let this song play and then we'll jump in and I'll tell you what's been going on, what could be going on, what should be going on, and a whole bunch of other nonsense. So just enjoy the song and I'll be right back. I'm going to cut this song off right now because what's going to happen is YouTube is going to tell me I'm in violation of copyright infringements and just bag this whole thing. So, hello, everybody. It's Brian. It's June 19th at around 10:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I just wanted to jump on and say hi and explain what the hell's been going on with the show. And apologize to you guys for not being more vocal about it. It's just, we don't know. Like, we have no clue. Like, we are literally kept in the dark more than you'd think, and it sucks. And I'm trying not to say the things I want to say because I'm assuming that would just hold us back even further. But how can they do that? You know what I mean? You already stalled our effing careers by years by being a lazy slug, and now what? Now what? Now what? We're supposed to kiss your ass? It is what it is, man. Like, and we. I guess I know I'm jumping ahead. I'm trying not to say stuff, and you're gonna have to read and code and all that crap. First and foremost, let me just start off by saying John is not here, and won't be for a while. He's got to work, and he's got to like we all do, but he's got bills to pay, and we've been doing this for so long and waiting for so long that money's run out, man. Money's run out, time's run out, and sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Hopefully, somebody will pick this show up. I still, it bothers me. It really bothers me that, you turn on the radio, and I'm not going to bash other shows. There's no need for that. But, you turn on the radio and it stinks. So I guess I am bashing it away, but it sucks. Right? It's not fun. It's not fun. It's not funny, to quote the great Billy Crystal. It just sucks. Like there's some good shows. Don't get me wrong. Not everybody sucks. But when you flip through the stations, my God, there's a lot more sucking going on than good. So I don't know. We had a meeting with our agent a while ago, and it appears that we are in the same position we were probably 4 years ago. Parked on a bench somewhere, put our files up on some sort of shelf, and we just wait now. We wait for people and stations that have never heard of us to decide they need us, and then have to approach us before we go and pitch the show. So, man, it breaks your effing heart, man. It breaks your effing heart, and it gets very disheartening. But what has happened from all the BS recently that we have found out that we literally are just zero as far as where do we rank on the guy that's supposed to get us a gig? Where do we rank on his scale? We're below zero. And the reason I say that is because I was in a meeting the other day, and I heard the names being thrown around. I mean, he represents a lot of huge people. I mean, people that even I didn't know he represented. And you're thinking, damn, oh, wait a second here. No sound, just static. I can hear you. John, can you hear me or not hear me? Because I'll start the whole damn thing over again. I don't know. I'm trying not to be, pessimistic. What is this guy? Oh, what's funny? I applied. I've been trying. Okay, you can hear me. Okay, great. Thank you, brother. I've been trying to get into some sort of shape lately, as opposed to just being round. That's a shape too. But and now all I get as you're going to be hearing the brings on my laptop are fitness people that are trying to tell me how to do stuff, because I went on Facebook once and I think I liked a fitness post. It's kind of like I've done that. See, I've been trying to change my attitude, especially with what's been going on lately. It's hard to keep a positive attitude when everything is shit. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to keep this positive attitude going. And I went online, I think it was Twitter and on Facebook, and I like these positive affirmation things. Like, you know what I mean? Those cute little sayings that they say, like, tomorrow is dawn and a new day. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even want to get into this last one. It's from family. Anyway, it's dawn and everything will get better. Keep your head up, keep your chin up, Bubba. I've been keeping my chin up, keeping my head up, and things aren't getting better. So what I've decided is it's time to kind of move forward and maybe do a sneak attack on this radio thing. So what we're going to do, since John is kind of busy with his full-time gig right now, I'm going into the radio industry solo. I'm going to be looking for a job. And then what I'm going to do, there's no sneaky we are, I'm going to start having John on every show so they could see, what Renegade is and how much fun it is. And I'm assuming how much people like it. So That's the game plan. If people are asking, like, where am I going to be? What are you guys doing? I am looking for a terrestrial job, whether it be, Boston or surrounding areas, even Rhode Island, New Hampshire, that type of stuff. So if you guys know of any stations looking for, here's the problem with this show or me in general. We're not political comedy. Okay. Dennis Miller is political comedy. We're not Dennis Miller. Bill Maher, who sucks, but he's political comedy. That's not what we do. What we do is we talk about politics and then we goof on it. We make jokes, so we don't, you don't need a thesaurus to get our jokes. You don't need to be totally up on everything. It's just a bunch of JOs goofing around on the news today and trying to make each other laugh. So that has been a detriment, unfortunately, to this program, to where you can't. It doesn't fit on the political stuff, and it doesn't. So everybody's trying to push us towards music, which I get it. You got to do music in the beginning, especially when you're a kid or brand new in a business. We're no longer kids or brand new, but you got to earn your time. But what was that? 2 to 4 minutes an hour. We're used to talking for 5.5 hours and making it fun and moving and whatever. So I'm now going to be going into this other realm of radio, which I'm not really a fan of, by the way. A lot of people, and John, thank you. Says sounds like a plan. Thank you, brother. It is. And like I said, I think we just got to be a little sneakier about the way we do stuff, because we're getting zero help from this industry. And when I say that, I think we all know who I'm talking about. But I did have a pretty good experience last week, I guess it was. There's a pretty big guy who used to work for the Howard Stern Network, actually very, very high up in that network. And I wrote him and he wrote back and had a meeting with myself and the agent and the whole thing. Just a great guy. Somebody who has that level of success, you wouldn't expect to be that kind. And he was a very kind man. And he's going to be trying to help us. I don't know what that means. And I believe him. And I really hope to God he does it, because this is getting bad, everybody. This is getting bad. So, like I said, we're trying to salvage Renegade, which it bothers me because, once again, I think it's probably one of the best shows on the air today. The problem, too, is a lot of people that we're talking to in terrestrial radio no longer like terrestrial radio. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to anybody? Because, like, I'm talking about people that run it, PDs, GMs, owners, and then you talk to them and they're like, terrestrial's dead. Terrestrial, something, we're going to throw some music. This is the way they treat terrestrial and the way they treat the listeners and whatever. And that's why you can't go to these big companies anymore. You can't go to the CBSs and Intercoms and all that stuff. You have to go to these smaller stations where you have people that honestly believe in radio, because it's still here and had been here for quite some time. Smaller places looking to make some money off their advertisers, and they're the ones that are going to, try to put the not edgy, but edgy shows out there first, and hopefully, we could move with that. I know I sound like somebody just texted me and said, you sound a little down, Bry. A little bit tired, a little bit down, a little bit whatever. It's been a long few years. And over the last few months, things have not gotten better, whether it be professionally, personally, whatever. Things are just turning to shit. It is craziness. But once again, everybody, like my positive reaffirmation posts say, it's always darkest before the dawn. You could always, what's that other stupid expression? I try not to pay attention to them because they irritate me. And I know they shouldn't, because they're supposed to be like happy and hey, everybody feel good. Kind of irritate me. So this is the game plan. All right, now we got rid of all the bitching, because I had a bitch. We haven't been on in so long. And like I said, I'm sorry, guys. Like, I didn't expect it. It kind of came out of nowhere, where John's work schedule just got very busy very quick. So I don't think he expected it. And we did a show one day, and then didn't talk for about a few weeks because he was just busy. He just had to do his thing. So in that regard, we're not doing the show together right now, but we're not broken up either. Well, that sounds a little, well, maybe we're just on a break, like Rachel and I forget the guy's name, David Schwimmer, whatever, the guy from Ross. But so we're just on a break. But as soon as one of us, whether it be me or him, gets into terrestrial, we're going to have the other one on as a guest, and we'll start, doing Renegade again. I guess that's the best thing we could do. So I did want to catch up. I did want to apologize. You guys have been phenomenal and phenomenally loyal to us. And don't think we don't recognize that. Please don't think we don't recognize that, because when we were on terrestrial, you guys, amazing. The support we got, especially the support we got from people like you guys is what made it possible for us to do what we were doing. Then when that whole bad thing happened and the radio got sold, the station got sold, and blah blah blah, you stayed with us. And I mean, God, what was it? It was through 3 different studios, 4 different apps. I mean, all this. It was always a thing, and you guys stuck with us through thick and thin, and that means so much to me. I can't even tell you. I mean, it really does. I think, I don't even know if we want the air or not, but I was in a store recently, and I was talking to somebody, and the lady ahead of me turned around and said, "Wow, you sound very familiar." And I said, "Oh, no, I don't think I know you." And she said, "Is your name Brian?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Oh, Renegade." And she was a longtime Renegade fan, and she, very sweet lady. I met her up in Stoneham, Massachusetts. Hi, she in a CVS. Just such a sweet lady. We sat, we talked for about 20 minutes, and she was telling me how much she enjoyed the show, and it had gotten her through a hard time in her life, and she missed us and all that stuff. And that is what makes all this really worth it. And I always thought that was cheesy and corny when people said that. But something, hearing somebody say, you got me through something, or your stupid show when I was very sad in my life made me laugh. I mean, you don't get any better than that, because a lot of us are very sad, so to laugh for that minute, to get that brief, that break, that little relief, I mean, I think is a very valuable thing. So thank you, and thank her, and all you guys. And I mean, our buddies like John, geez, Ed, I can't remember all you guys. It's not, I can't remember all you guys. I'm so effing tired right now. I haven't slept in 2 days that I can't remember, but a lot of you guys, you've just been nothing but loyal to us. We love you for that, and continue to do that, because I'm coming back, damn it, and I'm bringing John with me. So the main thing I'm trying to do recently, as of late, is to try to figure out what stations now, because see, that was the other thing too, because even during that meeting that we had, everybody keeps telling me, well, it's harder to get 2 people hired than 1. Well, obviously, everything's doubled, the money, the insurance, the whatever. So go one at a time. Great idea. Great idea. Now try to find something though. See, this is the thing, because radio, like I was saying earlier, the people that run it don't believe in it. They believe it's dead. They really, the big corporations just think, something, just throw music on there. These idiots will listen, we'll make a little bit of money and move on. They don't realize if you put something good on, something entertaining on, you're going to get a lot more money. You're going to get a lot more listeners. Things are just going to work out, because here's the thing. It's people aren't going to, this is how bizarre this industry is. And people are so backwards. They think that people have abandoned terrestrial radio because they prefer to listen to something online. Okay. Well, they abandoned terrestrial radio because there was nothing worth listening to. So they went online because there were things worth listening to. So what if you took the things worth listening to online and put them on terrestrial? Ah, what an idea. Oh, a ray of sunshine just came through the blinds there. Yeah, it makes sense. So what I'm thinking is this. Like, I don't know with me, because I'm kind of, I could do music, I could do politics. Sports, I don't. You would get a nasty SOB doing sports every day, because I'm so tired. You know something? I'm tired of sports in general, because like I used to be a New York Yankee fan. I grew up in New Jersey and lived in New York for quite some time. Always a Yankee fan. And then all of a sudden I met a few of them, and I realized these guys are assholes. You know what I mean? They're rich, entitled babies that just because they can catch a baseball or when they think that they're so much better than everybody. It really turned me off. And then, from meeting other people, I wouldn't care to meet any of them. I think they're all pompous assholes. I don't want to deal with it. But the one sport I wouldn't mind talking about now, and I can't believe I'm saying this because I've had zero interest, I never cared. I couldn't even name 2 players, is hockey. And here's the thing, and this is how I know I'm becoming an old woman. I like hockey, not for the game, but I like hockey because of the way they treat their fans. Does that make sense? Like, there's so many videos, and not videos done by the hockey teams or whatever. There are videos of fans, that are showing how, like if like, I don't know, sick kids or sick people or whatever go to the games, you'll always see like one of the players skate up and give them a jersey, give them a stick, give them a puck, or like that. There's that one real famous video of this little boy, and I don't know if he's sick or not, but he's just a cute little kid, little blonde kid wearing glasses, and he's standing where all the players go by. So he just puts his hand up and they all high five him on the way by. And I'm thinking that is such a great thing, because that kid is going to remember that for the rest of his life. Meanwhile, when I met, and I wasn't a kid, but when I met Jorge Posada from the Yankees, a-hole.
Derek Jeter, a-hole. Paul O'Neill, nice guy. I like Paul O'Neill. He was a good dude. He was very nice to everybody. And he was nice to my kids, so that immediately wins you over. Scott Brocious, nobody really cared about him, so he was okay. But the majority of them are just jerks. They're just pompous, rich, entitled people that think that you really should be kissing some baseball ass there. Not going to do it. Football. I used to be a Jet fan, so I stopped watching football. I didn't lose much. The only thing I lost was the frustration on a Sunday, and when I did bet money, I at least kept that because I haven't been betting on those pieces of S. So I don't care. Now I live up here in Boston. I know everybody loves the Patriots and the Red Sox, and I don't care about either. But once again, the Bruins, which I think they did good this year. I don't know. I don't know if they did good or they didn't do good. Who knows? But there was that one video of that one guy being very nice to that sick kid, and that pretty much won me over. That definitely won me over. That's one of those things that, all right, something, Bruins aren't that bad. I couldn't name a player once again. Couldn't tell you if they're doing well or not, but I like the fact that they took care of that kid and it says something, especially nowadays in sports where you got people kneeling and all that stuff. Now, what I'm going to do, just so you guys know, I don't know if you're bored or if you missed me or whatever. I wish I could turn that sound off. I apologize, guys. I don't know if you're hearing it, but the computer's going nuts with all the IMs. And I once again, keep IMing, guys. I missed you. I will respond to these later after I'm done recording. Don't think I'm ignoring you. Just say hi, hey, and I will definitely say hey back. Something? I almost feel like this is a homecoming. I really do. I feel like it's a homecoming. I missed you guys. I miss my buddy Ed, though. Ed's not in the chat room yet. As soon as I saw John, though, big smile on the face because I miss my buddy John. John has been a huge supporter, huge friend. Just all around great guy to the show, and we want to thank you obviously too, John. You've been nothing but great to us, and we appreciate that, brother. Now, hey, do I sound like I'm breathing heavy? A lot. I think I got I'm congested. All of a sudden, I don't know if my headphones are too high and whatever. I'm gonna have to tell this one person, look, I get it. I will talk to you later. But oh, hey there, baby. Yeah. That's funny, but there's this whole thing going on. So what I'm going to do, just so you guys know, like I said, I'll give you a little update right now. Right now, this is just us, like a little rap session, if you will. But I'm gonna come back in a second after I get a drink, and we're going to record my demo. So I don't know if you guys want to be a part of that or not, or I'm really gonna have to find a way to turn this off because they're not getting the point that I can't respond. I cannot respond. I want to respond. I just can't. Because I'm too busy doing this. So stop texting. No, I'm kidding. Keep texting. I'll respond later. Okay. So this is the plan. They want me to come up with a demo. Okay. I got to pick about 5 topics, maybe 5 to 10 topics. Doesn't all have to be today. I do want to get it done by tomorrow, though. And then I'm going to send them to this friend of mine. His name is Dave. Dave works in the radio industry and has for probably 3 decades. And he's the guy, to be quite honest with you. When all that stuff happened with, I don't want to say who, Ross, but I realized that we just weren't being taken care of. And I kind of called him and I just said, look, man, I think, the dream is dead. You know what I mean? What am I supposed to do here? And he said, no, it's not. He's like, I can help you. And honestly, the man's been in the business 30 years. He has a lot of connections. He said he'll make me, I can't do the demos. I suck at that. So he's like, just send me the audio. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to make a new audio demo type of thing. And we're going to try to get me on the air. Then I'm going to pull John in. And then hopefully they're going to put Renegade back on the air somewhere. So whether it be Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, we are looking everywhere. I don't mind. I will drive 4 hours each way. Doesn't matter to me. I just want to get this rolling again. So that's the plan. And once again, I can't apologize more to you guys. We didn't intend on not coming on. I know I popped on once or twice after John stopped showing up, but to be honest with you, after that, it just got very depressing to me. So I didn't know what to do. And to be honest with you, our equipment started breaking down. I couldn't afford to fix it. It's been a really hard few months, everybody. I mean, I know other people have had it a lot worse than me, so I feel bad for you. And something, if you need somebody to bitch to or have somebody listen to you, believe me, I am here. You can write me, on the Renegade page. You can write me on my personal page. You can come in the chat room and just say, hey, Bry, I need somebody to talk to. And I'm not one of these, overly huggy, kissy, type of, but something. The more I have gone through personally in my life, the more I have realized that most people in this world suck. Okay. And they will stomp on you or step over you or hurt you if it benefits them or if they're just tired of you, because people do get tired of each other very quickly. Um, and that hurts. And when you're the one that got stepped over and you got nobody to talk to, it's a bad thing. So once again, if anybody needs to talk or reach out, hey, I'll sit there and listen to you for a little while. I'm good like that. Plus, there are other places out there that can definitely get you help. So don't do anything stupid. I know I have people that we're talking to recently that were contemplating bad things, and don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. You know something? Somebody loves you somewhere. Even if it's just me, even if it's just Bry Bry, realize that. So don't do anything stupid, everybody, especially the person I'm talking to right now. You know who you are. I love you. You know what I mean? Not in that way. But once again, you're a good guy. Always have been. You're a good dad. And, just keep your head up, brother. You know what I mean? Things will get better. And that's coming from a guy who literally has had his whole fucking life fall apart in the last year and a half. So maybe together we'll get through it. But that's what we're going to do. Positive attitude from now on. We're going to change this stuff. Hey, look at me being a positive reaffirmation post on Facebook. Maybe it's all the ones I read, but we're going to change this crap up, be more positive, get our stuff done. Now, what we're going to do is trying to figure out what the hell we're going to talk about during this promo. Or demo rather. So I know I'm going to talk about, we'll talk about some news crap and personal junk and whatever. It's got to be relatively short. Like everything's going to be about 3 minutes each. I'll send them over to my buddy. He'll cut them up, blah, blah, blah. Then maybe, after he does that, because he's real quick, I'll come on, play it for you guys. You tell me what you think. The other thing is, and I hate doing it. Well, I don't hate doing this because you guys are our buddies. Grassroots nonsense that we've tried before, but it didn't really work. Let's try it again. Let's try it again right now. Okay. What we're going to do is this. And for some people, I see the chat rooms picking up a little bit, and I notice our IMs are picking up. Where are you guys listening to us other than YouTube? I know that we're shot out in a lot of different places somehow. I don't even know how that works, but get a lot of people that aren't on YouTube texting me, but go to YouTube. What is it? Ooh, the Renegade Radio? No, what is it? The Renegade Radio? The real Renegade Radio? Who knows? I don't know. Can somebody help me with the name of this? I think it's, wait a second. Wouldn't it be here somewhere? Renegade Radio Boston. There it is. Wow, it's been that long that I didn't remember that. So yes, look under Renegade Radio Boston. And you could come check us out. And I like I said, our buddy John's in there. I see Boomer the Movie. I think that's what it says. I have to apologize because my eyes suck. And here, watch, I'm going to be an old man. Put my reading glasses on. Wait. Yes, Boomer the Movie. I don't know what that means. Are you talking about Boomer Esiason? Because there shouldn't be a movie about him. I was a Jeff fan when he was our quarterback. That bum. Yeah. He knew how to lay down on the turf really well. I know that. He knew how to get hit. He knew how to take himself out of games, and he knew how to throw interceptions. Other than that, Boomer sucked. But I don't think you're talking about him, because why would you really when you think about it? Boomer the Movie. Got to check it out. It's a Q thing. Huh. What's a Q thing? It's going to be a guessing game. I'm an old man. Don't do with the Q thing. It's QAnon? Is it QAnon? Ooh. Oh, now you're going to get us all banned. You're going to get us all thrown off because you're QAnon. That nonsense. That where they made with that conspiracy. Oh, everybody QAnon. Where we go one, we go all. Yeah, it's not a bad saying. That's not a bad thing to say. And, something, I think that was a Democrat run thing. And I know this poor guy, Boomer the Movie, is probably going, he's stupid. It has nothing to do with that. What are you babbling about? Well, one, I'm babbling because I haven't slept in 2 days. Two, I took an edible this morning to relieve some tension because that's what it's there for. That and they get really high. And they're good. But, something I realized with my glasses in my hands, I could be like the new Mark Levin. Maybe that's it. I'll be like a younger Mark Levin because I'll do the thing where he puts his glasses on. Hey, how do I look in glasses? I see what's funny. These are reading glasses, so I can't even see how I look because everything is blurry. But he talks, like, and then Trump. And then when he gets pissed, he takes them off. And that's how you know Mark's pissed. The glasses fly off. So I think I might do that too. Why not, right? I mean, with my reading glasses from Dwayne Reed. Or CVS, or whatever, same thing. But all right, so I'm rambling, but that's the charm of us guys, just catching up. Once again, I hope everybody's doing well. Boomer the Movie, John, Ed. Why can't I think of the guy with the hat? Who was the guy that was always in the chat room with the hat? Steve from New Hampshire. Holy crap! I'm sorry, Steve, because that was a loyal gentleman right there as well. So basically, like I said, if you haven't heard, if you're just joining and you don't want to go back and listen to this later, which don't blame you, John is no longer with the program, but not officially. Like meaning the show hasn't broken up. Like we haven't talked to each other and said, all right, we're done. It's over. It's not like that at all. It was just hey brother, I got to work. I got bills to pay, and our agent doesn't do shit. So he left to go do what he had to do. Game plan is that I'm going to get a job in radio, singularly, and then I'm going to pull John on as a guest pretty much every night until they see the value of having Renegade Radio on, and we'll go from there. So that's the game plan. Now it's Steve in New Hampshire. Thanks, John. Yeah, I got it. It took me a second. I don't know why it took me a second, but it has been like a month or so since we've done anything. So, and I don't see him in the chat room. Because I always knew he liked John better. He probably saw it was just me today and said, I ain't doing this. But what I'm gonna do today, like I said, is I'm gonna try to find some stories. I don't know. I really don't know what's going on. In the news, there's a lot of stuff, but it's all like goof. Hold on, let me get my facing eviction stuff off my screen. It's been that good of a year. Let's see. Westchester County DA closes multi-year long Trump investigation. ABC shocked by Trump's indictment poll. These people. Yeah. NPR celebrates Father's Day with a pregnant dad story. All right. So far we're hitting 1,000. I think I could talk about every single one of these. I think that's it. I'm going to find a few more, come back and do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this video very quickly. And then I'm going to start another one. Give me about 10 minutes. I just got to find some stories. Going to get a drink. Hopefully you come back, join me. We could talk too. But we can even incorporate some of the text into the demo, hopefully. So that being said, why don't we take I don't want to say a break because it's more than a break. Actually, I'm not even going to I'm just going to let this run. I'm going to play a song real quick and then I'll be back. So listen to this, everybody. And then we'll record the, hopefully he's going to get us.
Hi guys, welcome back to Renegade Radio. Uh, I don't know what I just said, Renegade Radio. I guess we could call it Renegade Radio, right? We're gonna start that one. Hold on. Welcome back, guys. Yeah, I gotta say that because I don't wanna. I was told, by the way, that the name of the show might be off-putting to some because it just sounds too abrasive. We're a bunch of pussies. Uh, Hi guys, welcome back to the show. My name is Brian. It is 10:54 on June 19th. A bunch of stuff to get to still. I don't know if you guys have heard, but I guess there was big news over the weekend that pardon my language, guys. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to curse like that out loud. I apologize. That's very trashy, and it's just that it's not recording for some reason. And every time I start it, I feel silly. I hate repeating myself. I always feel like a dope, you know. But all right, so let's try it again. Yeah, more disingenuous nonsense from people that should have been family. Okay, gonna get rid of that real quick. Okay, here we go. All right, guys, welcome back to the show. My name is Brian. We do have a whole bunch of stuff to get to today. I'm like last, not recording and saying that. So let me start that over again. See, this is the nonsense of not being live. I love being live because you feel like you're more in your game when you record stuff. You get very picky, and of course, having recording issues like we always do um, won't help. There we go. All right. Guys, welcome back to the show. My name is Brian. It is 42 degrees, partly sunny today. I don't know why I'm doing this. I gotta stop this recording, and we're gonna redo all this. I'll be back in a minute, guys. Hey, I see more people are joining the chat room. I appreciate that. I'm not gonna bail out on this yet. But what we're gonna do, okay, is just to catch a few of you guys up. Renegade Radio. John has not been around for the last few weeks because he has to work. Well, everybody has to work, but I mean, it's become more imperative that he goes do that than this. Um, so for I don't know the foreseeable future, it's just going to be Bry Bry. But we came up with a plan. See, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. Okay, obviously we kind of the show just stopped a few months ago. Well, not months ago, weeks ago. I think about 5 weeks ago, and that's because John had to go to work, and we just couldn't find a time to coordinate to do the show daily, especially not in the morning. And that's when I could do it. He couldn't. Afternoon stuff is a little difficult for me, and then obviously late at night just doesn't work for anybody. So John's gonna be doing that for a while. The game plan is I'm going to go get a job at a station singularly as a talk show host, and I'm going to bring John on consistently until they say, hey, this is what that Renegade Radio stuff is about. And hopefully we get hired doing that. So what I was told was I have to come up with a single demo because the demo that we have is obviously John and I. So today I'm going to be, I don't know, trying to do, I don't know, they want like 5 to 10 things so they can make a demo. Oh, it only has to be 2 to 3 minutes each topic. So I'm going to start picking through those and we can kind of do it. If you guys want to join in on the chat room, I encourage that. I always love when you guys join in. And it helps, believe it or not. It's fun to have people to talk to. To talk to yourself kind of feels stupid at times. So what I was thinking was, what we'll do is I'll just record the demo here on YouTube with you guys, and we'll do it together. And if you have any opinions, you throw your opinions out. If you have ideas, throw them out. Just go to Renegade Radio Boston on YouTube. You could do that. I mean, wherever else you guys are listening. I mean, I just found out we're on. This is being broadcast on a few different websites and like radio things. You know, internet radio things. I don't know. But hey, the more the merrier. But go on over to our YouTube page because then I could see you. You know what I mean? I'd like to see you. You could join in a chat room, and obviously John's there, Boomer's there. A whole bunch of people are starting to file in. So I mean, nobody knew we were around for a while. Everybody was kind of. I think some of you might be annoyed with us. I wouldn't doubt it. I'd be annoyed with us too. So head over to Renegade Radio Boston.
And like I said, in the meantime, I'm going to try to come up with some stories. We're going to do about, I'm going to say today we'll try to do about 3 to 5, 2 to 3 minute bits on topical stuff. And then we'll send them over to the guy to do the demo. And God willing, he'll get us a job in radio quick. And then Renegade Radio can be back where it should be, which is on the air on terrestrial radio, because we'll be kicking a snot out of most of these shows, especially that one on WBOS here in Boston. I'd love to be put up even on a little station. Just put us on a tiny station here in Boston at the same time as those guys. I would love to go up against them and just see, because I mean, content wise, I mean, I'm a little older of a man. I'm in my late 20s. But the word duty doesn't make me laugh. And that's kind of the humor over there. Duty. That's, by the way, for you guys who don't know, that's the Dick and Ball Show. And if you don't know what that means, is when you call in, you actually got to say penis. And then sometimes they'll just say penis and balls, because we're all, I don't know, 7 years old and think that's funny. But like I say, put us up against that any day of the week. We will stomp them. We'll stomp them right into the ground. And that would obviously help us solidify a terrestrial gig. So if you know of any stations in the New Hampshire, right? Yeah, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut area, let me know. So once again, guys, I'm going to play a quick one. Let's see. John says, tell your cab on fire story. Now, you see, buddy, that's a good one. People on the other side are sending in some story ideas too, which is great. The swimming in raw sewage story, people like. The getting to watch from China story, they liked. There's a few. We have quite a few. I like the I like those. So, some of them are gonna be personal stories. They want that kind of mixed in, but they also want, like like this one topic. See, the news kind of sucks today, but this one topic is ABC host shocked by post-Trump indictment poll. That's because they got their head in the sand. Oh, look at this one. Family Feud. Jennifer and Matthew McConaughey, Drew Barrymore take nasty battle with Mother's Public. That's stupid. Get that out of here. NPR celebrates Father's Day with a pregnant father story. Stupid. See, that's a good one. These liberals are friggin' out of their minds. And we'll get into it when we actually do it. I don't want to wreck it. Let's see. Here we go. We got some Newsmax. See, here's the other problem. You go Fox, Newsmax, CBS, NBC, whatever. It's all crap. It's all crap. You know what I mean? It's one side's all left, one side's all right. There's never any friggin' truth to any of it. This is why I'm telling you, I think that we have to just start over again. We just got to start from the beginning as far as news agencies go. Just wipe them all clean, because that's ridiculous. That's actually probably a good topic for us to talk about in a minute. Once again, if you want to text me, well, I don't know about text me, but because I wouldn't know how to work that thing. If you want to join in the fun, if you will, go to Renegade Radio Boston on YouTube. There's a live chat room there. We're hopping now. Where a lot of people are filing over good, thankfully. Once again, if you're listening anywhere other than YouTube, that's fine, but log into our YouTube page too. It's Renegade Radio Boston. We'd really appreciate that. Our buddy Steve, the guy you left in a puddle. Yes. Okay, buddy, I'm with you. I see. You know what the problem with this is going to be, and I'm going to tell that, but I'm so very used to being on a show that's a team. You know what I mean? So when you tell somebody something like that story, Steve, you would hear John's reaction, and the reaction of somebody going, oh, ooh, and all that stuff is what makes it funny to me. I've always had a lot of respect for guys, believe it or not, and women. I just say guys because it's all encompassing, that do radio shows alone, because basically you're talking to yourself. You're just babbling to yourself. That's all you're doing. That's why a lot of times, like when I had to do the show when John wasn't there, because I did solo shows before, but you talk to your producer, and once again, it's another voice, might give you a laugh. You'll see if you're going in the right direction with the story, by their reaction. Like, are they look bored? Are they laughing at you? Are they, So I'm definitely like that one. If you guys, so here, how about this? If you guys can think of any stories that you liked from Renegade that we've told, let me know, and I'll do them right now in a short demo. And we'll see what we could do from there. But yeah, that story, I still feel, by the way, Steve, I still feel horrible about that. I really do. And I saw that guy recently. Still won't talk to me. I mean, I guess I wouldn't either, but I didn't know. And in my defense, I was really high. You know what I mean? I don't know how much of a defense that is. Well, nowadays it is, but I was really, really high. So that's why that happened. But yes, we'll definitely talk about that one. The Newsmax thing and the news agency things I like. I like the NPR talking about the pregnant father. You see, this is stuff that's probably not going to get me a job. This is stuff that's gonna not get me a job. John says, "Hey, invite the listeners into your studio and we'll listen." Thanks. Um, the stuff I'm talking about, like, it's going to be one of those things where, is it too edgy? Or are they not going to let you on? I don't care. We'll just talk about everything, and we'll lean. Obviously, if by the way, if a liberal whole left leaning crazy liberal station hired me, I wouldn't last more than a week or two anyway. So why bother? You know what I mean? Why don't we just get right into talking about what we want to talk about, have a little fun, and we'll move on from there. And what Steve says, thanks for the heads up about the show. John. I'm not John, I'm Brian. And yeah, like I said, we're not giving up though, guys. I know a lot of people were kind of bummed out about all that. And trust me, so will we. I think that's why for a week or so, I don't think, well, a month or so, I didn't feel like doing the show. I didn't want to, you're just like, you don't want it to go away. You don't want it to whatever, but it's just so friggin' disheartening when everything you do runs into a brick wall with this shit. But new game plan, and we're gonna work it all out. So give me a minute. I'm gonna go get a drink and a pen and paper. We're gonna then start recording this demo. So I'll play a quick song, which they're gonna take this YouTube video off for because it's copyright infringement. But you guys can listen to it to kill some time, and I'll be right back. Damn, I love that song. These guys are Slipknot. I don't know. I mean, old song. I don't know if a lot of Slipknot fans out there, but phenomenal. I love that song. And this is one of those songs. I guess I could talk about this later too. One of those songs I didn't even like when it came out. It's just one of those things that just grows on you after a while. But phenomenal band. I'd love to see them live, but I'm not paying that much money, and I don't want to have to go out, and I don't want to stand. I want to park it and walk, and I just listen to it on YouTube. All right, so hey guys, really appreciate everybody listening. By the way, thank you, and I'm getting your texts now because we're getting them through the old line and the whole thing here. Missed you guys too. Also, our buddy John said no. What'd you say here, brother? I'm sorry, it just kind of re-up to me. Blah, 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 blah. I was talking to John from Braintree. You don't have to be snotty about it, Steve. Okay. Oh, so he tipped you off. Thank you, John. See, this is what I miss about. Well, there's a lot of things I miss about the show, but this is kind of what I missed about Renegade in general. We became like this clique of friends, and even though we probably only met each other once or never, you know what I mean? There was this feeling of camaraderie and friendship. You know what I mean? It's just it's amazing that people connected like that during the show. I don't know if you guys remember back on the MEX days. We did a Thanksgiving Day show because obviously no one else was going to show up. It's a holiday. But we thought it would be cool, to do a show for the people who had to cook in the morning and whatever. So we came in and we had a few guests, and we had a lady come in that was she needed a kidney. And we didn't know this was going to happen. She called the show. She liked the show. She'd never mentioned anything like that. And then she came in, and thankfully, I think she did get it, by the way. But to see, that woman who was facing that type of thing just come in and laugh and have fun for the hour, 4 hours. Actually, no, I think we did our shift, and then we did short sleeve shifts. So we did 6 hours. This was great. And then, one of the people I had met, or my ex-girlfriend, had listened to the show, and she had gone through a personal tragedy and said that got her through. A few other listeners have said, there were bad times in my life, and your dumb show it made me laugh for a second, or made me forget for a second, or whatever. And the closeness that we all got from that, like when we did, I'll just talk to you guys on this. And Petri Dish is saying, miss you guys. Oh, I miss you too, Petri. When we did like the F1 thing, there was so many people there that nobody expected, especially like the other people on the station, McPhee and Short Sleeve. Oh, no, he's gonna go. And you guys packed the house. You shut them up. You know what I mean? Like the pictures were amazing. Everybody, and we made sure that anybody wanted to come up and talk, like, not because we feel like we owe it to you. It's because we wanted to talk to you guys. You were the guys that helped the show. The show itself is just a bunch of a-holes hanging around, laughing, goofing on stuff, looking at the world outside, saying, "Holy crap! Do you believe this is going on? You believe how nutty it is out there?" At least we got each other to kind of lean on. You know what I mean? What Peachy's saying, need to have another F1 event. Yeah, something. I agree. I think something, man. Like I said, not to be overly Dr. Philish, it's been a bad few years for me personally. It's been very tough years for a lot of people, and it just got it just got tough. You know what I mean? And what I realized was the salvation for me is this show, and you guys, and then like I said, going to the F1 thing, and what the show ended at I think 10 at night. We didn't get out of there till like 12:31 because we were just hanging out with everybody. We did the show on the boardwalk that time. That was packed, and I think we opened and closed every store there. Like it was a lot of fun. And like I said, the kind of connection that we have with you guys is amazing. And I don't think a lot of shows have that. I think that for some reason we think of you guys as friends because you are, and I think you think of us as friends. We've gone through a lot of stuff together. So I think getting back on terrestrial is going to be a good thing. I'm going to be just answering a few quick things here in the chat room. If you want to go to the chat room, switch on over to YouTube. It's Renegade Radio Boston, and join in there. Steve saying, love the cross, Brian. Is there a story behind it? Yeah, there's don't want to be a holy roller, right? Because my aunt is one of those people that turned me off of religion when I was young because she pushed it so hard. But I think I've come to, like I said, I was saying, over the past few months, things have been getting got very tough and got weird. It not just tough, they got weird. Like it, life got very bizarre to the point where I kept thinking maybe I'm taking too much weed, maybe I'm eating too many edibles, because all of a sudden I couldn't my reality was crap. Like, and it kind of still is. I mean, I don't do as many edibles, but so it wasn't the edibles, by the way. So don't blame the pot, everybody. Don't blame pot. Pot's good for you. I'll get in trouble. But it's one of those things where I just forgot what the hell I was talking about because I did take an edible today. But like I said, we need to get back on. I'm going to be trying to do it through a single show. So anybody out there listening, I think I was given the Renegade Radio Boston thing on YouTube. I don't know. You see, this is why I need a pen. This is why I need a co-host so they could say, hey, hi, guy. You were just talking about that. Oh, the cross. I'm sorry. So thank you. So what I'd been through some bad stuff, blah, 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 blah. And then I kind of realized, like I said, I want to be a holy roller, but I kind of found my way back to the church. By the way, Petri dish, the demon weed, man. I'll tell you, man, it's the devil's lettuce. What is that all? Nah, I don't smoke anymore, though. Petri, I just ingest it. Yeah, I just do edibles now because smoking doesn't even get me high. There's just not enough THC in it. Like now, that's always a good sign, right? But the edibles, you get the hundreds and you could chomp 2 or 3 of those and be okay for about 6 hours and then start all over again. But as far as the cross goes, I keep getting sidetracked. I just personally, realize or have come to the realization of certain things personally. I believe in God. I believe, that especially, I think a lot of people find God when things are bad, which is okay. But when things get good, you better be right there thanking him too. I love this cross personally. I found this kind of, my thing is I always wear black, which is my thing. I've been doing it since I was like 14, but black shirt, black pants, black boots. And I found a black cross. Now, I had it blessed and all that stuff. So it's not black for, whatever reasons, but I just think it looks cool too. I like it a lot. And, I don't know. I think that, especially with the world we live in right now, religion's not a bad thing. I went to church this weekend and the priest, he was very honest. It's nice when you see people just address stuff without trying to kick it under a carpet. Because he was saying, like, a lot of people don't come anymore. He goes to church, and he's like, well, it could be. Then he named something. He goes, it could be because of that sex scandal. Exactly. Something. Let's just take the words "could be" and throw that out the window. It was because of the sex scandal. It turned a lot of people off. But then I think what happened was, and thankfully, most people realized you can't blame the religion for what people do. So the religion's pure. Some of the people were shit. I mean, it is what it is. Does it excuse it? No. If anything, I think any man, woman too, whatever, but any person that represents God that then takes advantage of a child is the lowest of low. And I know you're not supposed to judge and everybody's going to forgive and blah, 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 blah. When it comes to pedophilia, or hurting old people or women or animal, I don't know about forgiveness. That, that might be something I got to live with, but I don't believe in that at all. I think that's really disgusting. But what happened was I was going through a very dark period personally in my life. I can't even tell you how bad, and it's still bad, but really bad. Like, imagine losing everything and almost everyone, like all within a year. And it's like, whoa, and that's when you kind of dig down and you're like, well, what do you do? Like, do you give up? Do you like, and I think that's could be part of the reason where we didn't come on for a little bit, just because you get to that point where you're like, wait, F it. I'm done like this. I'm just done. But yeah, I don't know what happened. Something in me clicked or whatever. And I decided to go back to church. And and this was a while ago. This wasn't just last month. This was a few months ago. But I went back to church and I felt better. I went to confession and I felt better. And even now when things are, like I said, things really are coming to a bizarre, crazy, crashing end in about 10 days for me. And I'm pretty calm about it. I just feel like, God's there. Something will happen. And if it don't, something will. Bad shit's happened before and I didn't die through it. Either I die or I get through it. Either way, you know what I mean? And I have that type of thing where if you're dead, you won't know. And if you get through it, hopefully you came through it, with flying colors. I don't mean to be depressing, by the way. It's not because I'm not depressed. It's not what I'm trying to say, but I think it was getting back to this cross. So I was going to church and all that stuff, and I was starting to feel a little better. And like I said, I never wear the cross out. Normally, I always wear the cross like in my shirt because I don't know. I always thought it shouldn't be decoration. You know what I mean? Like I always thought you should keep it close to your heart. That's what I was told. But it shouldn't be decoration. But now I feel like you have to wear it outside your shirt because the Catholic Church and the Catholic religion and religion in general are just the enemy of the whole friggin' world here. Like what the Dodgers did over the weekend, where they had the men that dress like nuns and it's just all sacrilegious crap. I couldn't believe it. They're mocking Jesus and they're mocking the church. And hey, you know something? Why don't you do that to Allah, tough guy, Dodger assholes? Why don't you do that to Allah? Oh, you know why? Because they would kick the snot out of you. People would come in, they'd burn your stadium down, and you know it. You know what I mean? You don't do that to other religions because why? Because the Catholic religion is the forgiving religion, and right, many of those left. So yeah, so you're going to step on it and you're going to kick it. But I'm telling you, man, people are fed up. I'm fed up. I'm not a huge baseball fan anyway. But after what the Dodgers did, f them, f the Major League Baseball didn't do anything. I'm done, everybody. I am done. Let's see, real quick. Steve, thanks for sharing that, Brian. I found my way back during a dark time as well. I'm happy for you. Thanks, Steve. I'm glad for you too, brother, because it really does help. It really does help. I personally, I always say this name wrong, but Padre Pio, Pius. I know. It's short for pious, so Pia. I don't know. He has it's a short version of the rosary that I say every day. I like that. I do the longer version like once a week. And it's funny because my son, who's religious, and God bless him, and to be quite honest with you, he's a lot of the reason that got me back into it because I raised him Catholic. Then he went through some real bad stuff, like a lot of people dying, and you know how you rebel. And he kind of rejected the church, and then he went back to it. And he is just such a happy, productive, well-adjusted guy. And I mean, he's going through a lot, but he's just he's a great kid. He's always been a great kid, but he's one of those guys that could have went in a real bad direction, and he didn't. And I think religion helped him. And if anything, it gives you peace of mind. Like I like when people say to me, well, what if you're wrong? Well, what the hell do I know? You know what I mean? If I die and there's no God, okay. Okay. But if I die and there is a God, well, good. Pick the right one on that one. Because what's the worst thing that can happen? I'll never know if I'm dead. You know what I mean? And there's no God. But if there is one, and I don't even encourage people to believe in God because of that, because that's kind of a crappy reason. You'll find it. You'll find it. My son had a dream that changed him all around. Like he really had a dream that just changed more. I've had, and actually, to be quite honest with you, and it just kind of came back to me. And trust me, I'm not Pat Robertson anymore. I'm still the same sarcastic a-hole. I'll be making horrible jokes and all that stuff too. There's two sides of Bry Bry, but he's such a good kid that he went out and I don't want to get too personal, but like he gave up everything to take care of a terminally ill family member at his age. Like he literally gave up his friends, his girlfriend, his going to school, his house, his apartment, whatever, and he moved thousands of miles away to take care of his terminally ill family member. He's just a great kid, and he found God prior to that, and I think that really solidified it with him because he was telling me about a dream and an experience he had. And you know what I mean? It is what it is. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things where it was such a beautiful experience for him, and to see his life change from it, it was inspiring. So once again, I'm not going to push my religion on anybody, but I think everybody, it couldn't hurt you, man, to look into it. Couldn't hurt you. And I don't care which one it is. You know what I mean? If you believe in a higher spirit, here's the thing about religion. This is God, I'm rambling. Boy, I must be really high. But here's the thing about religion. Not all of it is good. Yeah, it's not. You have violent religions. You have ones that just like, even think about the original Testament. God was kind of angry. I mean, that whole eye for an eye, and kind of angry. Until he had to send Jesus down, and he was like, mellow out, everybody, take a breath. Don't be such dicks. Everybody can be kind of cool to each other. It's all right. But you don't have that in a lot of different religions. And I think what's important now in this time where we're approaching World War III, we're approaching total lunacy as far as the people I like how people, I should write this one down, but I like how people are now shocked that the country is going crazy when you've elected lunatics. Like when you elect the stupid, okay, they do stupid things. When you elect the crazy, you're not supposed to say crazy. Why not? Why not? I'm so tired of, what the Democrats have done, and successfully. I don't understand how they've done it. because it's such a bizarre thing when you think about it, that they have weaponized words. Okay, and it started, everybody knows, with the N word. Okay, is the N word nice? Absolutely not. Should it be outlawed? Absolutely not, because we have freedom of speech. Here's the difference from when I was growing up and now, using that word in particular, which you're not supposed to talk about, which is stupid. To get through something, to get past something, you have to talk about it. Okay. Here's the thing, it's a horrible word. It's a mean word. Most people, except for rap stars and people on the street that are friends, don't say it to each other in a nice way. Well, actually, wait a second, everybody. They do. People do. Whether you like it or not, you guilty white liberals, they do. I would go to the Bronx all the time to go to Yankee games. Okay. You know how many times I heard the N word from people, who weren't white? It's every other word, and what's up, my blank? Hey, my blank. Hey. And then when they're angry, F you, blank. But nobody cares. Okay. But what the left did was they weaponized it. Okay. If you say this must means you're a KKK guy, you're far right, they weaponized the words. They knew what they were doing. But the problem with that is you take every individual group, okay, they all have that N word, if you will. For homosexuals, it's the F word. You know what I mean? For every ethnicity has it. So they're going to want that word banned. You can't ban words. It's like burning books, and it's stupid. And what you've done is you've created a beyond soft-bellied society that now thinks sticks and stones do break bones, but names really hurt me. You know what I mean? Like it's just as bad because they're weak. We have raised veal. It used to be a joke, but mentally and emotionally, people are so just weak. Like nobody knows how to do anything anymore. Nobody knows how to handle anything. Words make people cry. Also, and so it's a form of entitlement, because think about it. Let's say, and this has happened to me on several occasions. Go figure. I would say something like simple, like when somebody had walked into a place I work, and let's say it's 4 women. Okay. And I'd say, hey guys, how you doing? And then people would bitch that I called them guys. Really? Is that the worst thing that's going to happen to you all day? Is that really something that you want to start bitching about? Yes, because they're mentally impaired, they're weak, they just want attention, and they're looking to be insulted. That's why they've weaponized words. That's why they've done these things. They've done it so they can be insulted. So anything that you do or say, they can look at you and say, well, I'm better than you. I'm holier than thou. You should listen to me. Why? Because you have a Bull Dyke haircut that you dyed purple. Stop it. Stop it. Oh, Bull Dyke shouldn't say that. Stop. That's the other thing. Well, remember when Trump, when he first came out, he used the term anchor babies, right? For illegals that came to this country and had a baby, he called them anchor babies, because what they are anchor babies. You would have them, and then all of a sudden the child and the mother couldn't be deported. I think pops could, because nobody cares about fathers, but not the mom and the kid. So anybody with half a brain that was coming from a third world country would get knocked up, come over in the 8th month or whatever, have the kid, and say, well, look, now I'm an American. You got to take care of me. Because America has always had bizarre rules where if you came here and that happened, we would take care of you for the rest of your life. I don't understand that. And that's another thing we got to talk about is the border. I'm going to wind up shutting up because I'm talking about all the good topics we should be talking about. I'll have nothing to say in a minute. But I do want to get to some of this very quickly. Let's see. Once again, Steve, thank you. Boomer, the movie says Curtis Leewell calls freeform talk radio the theater of the mind. Now, it's funny that you bring up Curtis. I was a guardian angel when I was a lot younger. I actually want to do it again. I was thinking about going to New York just for a weekend and doing some patrolling because I miss it. Granted, now it's been 30 years. Ooh, I don't believe I just said that. It's been a long time, man. So I don't know if I still got it, but and they're not the same guardian angels they used to be. Like we used to go out and it was crazy because people hated your guts back then. That was when David Dinkins was the mayor, and you'd go out into these crack areas and it was crazy. They would have you. They called it posting up. Like you would stand outside of certain buildings. Maybe this is something I should talk about too. Hey, remind me that. Hey, Bobo Facebender says, and yes, Padre Pio was the man. Okay, thank you, Bobo. It's Pio. Every time I do it, I hate saying this because I say that it's not a rosary, but it's short one. I think it's 15 prayers or whatever. And when I say it, his name is in it a lot, and I'll go start. Saint Pio. Sorry about that. Just because I can't. I don't know. I just couldn't figure it out. So thank you. I'm gonna screenshot that. But as far as the Curtis thing, we'll definitely get into that. Let's see. Not to sound cliche, it's always darkest before the dawn. Well, it's either going to get darker or bright. You got to, and I agree with you. It's two options, man. Like I said, personally, I think mentally, this is a different side of Bry Bry, isn't it? Huh? Mentally, I've been in a weird thing because, like I said, I've had just a lot of bad things happen. I've had a lot of bad things happen, and you get through them. You figure it out. But it's just sometimes, man. I used to make fun of people. See, this is something maybe I should. Oh, damn, I wish I got that pen. I can't remember what we're going to talk about, and now I'm coming up with a whole bunch of ideas. But I used to make fun of people who had anxiety. Isn't that horrible? But what I mean by that is they would say, "Oh, I'm having an anxiety attack," and I'd say, "Toughen up." Like, yeah, we all have anxiety. Toughen up. What's wrong with you? And then I started getting them recently, and I wanted to call every single person I ever said that to and apologize and say, "Holy crap, man! I literally didn't understand." What you guys were going through. I didn't understand the feelings of doom and death and just that terror. Like the way I get this thing where it's like this it's like a ball of energy in my chest, and I feel like I have to run, right? Like if I run, maybe it will be better. I got to get away from something, but then everything I do isn't satisfying enough to hold my attention. So you sit there, you know what I mean? And I'll be like, oh, I'll go online. Oh, I'll watch TV. And then you just freak out. So I apologize to everybody about that. That was really dick-like of me. So my bad. Petri Dish says, Uke is a good kid. That's how you know somebody's been with the show for a very long time. Uke. Yeah. That was Brian Jr.'s nickname on the show, Uke, because at one of the F1 events we had, he had a great time, and he was talking to this beautiful bartender who was buying him drink after drink. And, he just turned 21, and he was thinking that you had to take all the drinks, and he was just like, well, she's like, he thought like that was like a man thing. Like how it wound up for Uke was he wound up puking all over her shoes as she walked him to the car that night. Didn't get a phone number either, which sucked because they were digging each other. But I think, when you throw up on a girl, it might turn her off a little bit. And she might not, something she might forgive you, but she's never going to want to kiss you or she'll never get that image of your vomit, on her lap. You know what I mean? It's just kind of gross. But yeah, poor Uke. He always tells me that he can't outlive that, and he won't, because I will remind him forever. Let's see here. Boomer the Movie says, "Don't hide your beliefs. Don't hide your beliefs. Don't flaunt it." Yeah. Oh, I agree. If anybody ever wants to talk to me, like in person, about religion, I'll talk about anything. If you have a different religion than mine, okay. I grew up. We'll get into this too. Actually, damn it. I don't know. I should really write this down, because I had a friend, and I know we talked about this for almost my whole life. Like, I was taken from the hospital, put into the crib. Listen how funny this is. We grew up. He's hardcore liberal. I'm conservative. And we still were friends until Trump. And then he made the decision that we could no longer be friends over Donald Trump, because the guy, me, who had been with his family and his mom and at Passovers and every wedding and everything at the temple and whatever, was a Nazi now who hated Jews. I was an anti-Semite. What? Why am I an anti-Semite? Well, because the news told him so. That's how stupid these liberals are. And it also, once again, gives them a reason to be mad, because most of them are pussies. Most of them, especially the guys, are wimps. There's no testosterone in this fucking country anymore. Pardon my language, but there isn't. And I didn't mean to say that. But there isn't. Men are villainized for being men because it's toxic masculinity. Well, here's the thing. Without masculinity, you don't have anything. You have no defense. Who's going to defend you from anything if there's no masculinity? Who's going to fight the wars? Who's going to be the cops? Who's going to be the boyfriend, that if somebody comes over and insults his girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever, can stand up and defend you? You know what I mean? Like, they have villainized men because, even on Father's Day, single Mother's Day. Listen, man, I agree that if you had to do it alone, God bless you. But, you're not a man. You know what I mean? You're not. You took the father role, but you're not a man. Stop it. And we'll get into that other story too. Wilson Nightstand, this guy is great, smart, and truthful. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Bobo says, yes. Padre Pio. Oh, I read that one already. Padre Pio. And yeah, John says, yes, I was at that event where I guess uked. Yeah, and got his nickname. And once again, that had to be 2016. So this poor kid's going on, 7 years of being called Uke. I still call him Uke. I talked to him last night. And first thing I said to him was, actually, is when we hung up. It's all right, Uke, I love you. So, all right. So If you guys have any more questions, that's great. What we're going to do, like I said, we're going to talk a little bit of politics. We're going to talk a little bit about common sense. I think we should talk about the Dodger thing. If anybody can remember anything I had just said about certain things, damn it, you see what I mean about this weed? Damn, there were like 3 topics I said that we should write down, and I meant you guys write down because I wasn't gonna because I don't have to find a pen. But I'm gonna go find a pen right now, and then we're gonna do that. So I know I said it before, gonna be nice and short this time. We're gonna leave. I'll put on a quick song. Let's see, what do we want? Like, see, I like the rock heavy, like 90s, 80s stuff, but I know some people might not. Here's a song, and I think most people have made fun of this band, myself included, because I thought it was kind of wimpy. But if you are like we were talking earlier with the anxiety or whatever, and I think it's kind of a nice song. So, all right, listen to this. What I'm turning into an old woman. All right, I'm gonna go get a pen. Be right.
can't hear the music? All right. Well, that. For the love of God, why is it always something, man? Yeah, well, real quick, Steve's asking if we're going to be doing this all week. You know something? Yeah, I'm going to be jumping on in the mornings. For how long? Is it a show? No, it's this. It's just going to be us babbling about what's going on. I guess that's what we always do. What's going on in the world, and I'm going to be recording a demo. That's pretty much what we're going to be doing now today. Is I'm trying to pick out topics because I got to come up with a solo demo because the one I have right now is obviously just for the show itself, Renegade. So I got to do a single one because I'm going to get a job, hopefully, uh, as a single host somewhere, and then I'm going to bring John on as a constant co-host guest until we force him to put Renegade back on the air. So, if you know of any smaller stations in the New Hampshire, New England area, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, let me know, and we will be reaching out shortly to all of them. So that's what we're doing today. And as far as me doing this, yeah, I'm definitely going to jump on. I miss doing this. I miss you guys. So even if it's just for like an hour to a day, maybe an hour a day, who knows, until I can't anymore or we got to switch it around, I will definitely be doing this more. So there's that. Let's see. John said, don't forget about the guy having a baby. Okay, got that one. As far as the music, like the music is playing right now. I don't know why you guys can't hear it. And that means it's not even on the actually, it's on the demo or I'm sorry, on the recording that I'm doing. I can see it. So I'm not sure why it's not going through the YouTube. And once again, I wouldn't have a clue. I don't know how any of this crap works. Okay, so the topics that we kind of brushed over earlier was news agencies, because my thing is this, and it's the same thing kind of like with Google. It's all BS. Like in Google, don't want to get too much into it, but like if you put something, like let's say somebody that they like did something that's considered a scandal, and let's say, I don't know, you take the Dodgers incident over the weekend where they had that stupid, that was it, LBGT Pride, whatever, the Pride night where they honored that those like the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. That makes me sick. Like it makes me sick that the Major League Baseball endorsed this crap all in the name of what? Your wokeness. Hey, look, man, I don't care if people are gay, straight, bi. I don't care what you do. How about this? I don't care what you do in your bedroom. Go have fun, man. Like, seriously, go ahead, do what you got to do. There are people in the beat. I was on a show once, and we used to, well, not used to. We went to 2 BDSM dungeon type places, and one was all vanilla and whatever. Oh, I'm gonna spank your tuchus, and another one was they were. I don't want to get too graphic, but they were inserting something called a song in places inside a gentleman's body that they shouldn't be inserted. And then they hit the top of the thing with like a hammer, and it would like go ding, like it made it almost like you were hitting a crystal, if you will, a little flatter sound. But so I didn't. And there was a dude that was dressed like, well, he had a collar on, and they had him tied to a wall. He had a girl, whatever, man. If that's your thing, that's your thing. But leave God out of it, leave kids out of it. And how about this? I don't care. I don't care. I don't care when you have sex. I don't care how much sex you have. I don't care what you're doing. None of my business. I want to go back to the days when I grew up. God, and I sound like an old man saying this, and I'm only talking about the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, where people minded their own business. If there was a gay person, guess what? I don't care about your sex life. I'm not going to have sex with you. But as a person, how are you? Are you a good dude to hang out with? Are you loyal? Are you a good friend? Once again, I don't care what you do when the door is closed, because you don't want to know what I'm doing with my chick when the door is closed. I can guarantee you that. But, they got to force it down everybody's throats. And I love how everybody uses that and kind of giggles to themselves. But you know what I'm saying. But anyway, if you go to Google and you Google that, like I just put in LA Dodgers because I'm thinking that's the biggest thing the Dodgers have going on right now. Nobody, what else would possibly come up on Google? And everything but that came up. So then you go to DuckDuckGo, I think it's called, and they have it differently. So it all depends on I guess where, and this isn't how it should be, but where the people that own it or run it stand politically of what you're going to be able to see. Ridiculous. Okay, so anyway, I'm rambling, so let's get on with it. So it was going to be the news agency thing, the difference between liberals and Republicans, Trump's charges, the Dodgers thing, and I already said search engines. Totally forget the rest of them. I know the man having a baby. There were a few good ones that we talked about, and I that's why I should always have a pen and pencil. Okay. So this is going to be horrible. I hate recording stuff. By the way, I'd rather go live because it's easy. Because then whatever. But when you record stuff, you get really picky. So I don't know if you guys want. Well, yeah, hang out for it. Why not? Because it'll be fun. We're gonna. Let me just see where we are in the song. Back up a little bit. It'll be fun. All right. So give me a minute and we'll start recording. All right, guys. Welcome back to the show. Yeah. Hold on. Not recording. All right, guys. Welcome back to the show. My name is Brian. It is Monday, June 19th at 11:35. I don't know if you guys heard over the weekend, the LA Dodgers for the LGBTQ Pride Night decided that they were going to have an organization called the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. I've never heard of these people before. I assumed personally, just from the names of it, that it might be like a nun organization. And then I was like, all right, I could. I don't understand what that has to do with the LGBT community, but well, hold on. So this damn thing. Guys, I'm gonna throw this thing through a window because it's not recording. All right, hate to do it. Give it. I'm gonna have to restart this one thing, so I'm gonna play another song for you, and it's probably gonna take about a minute or two. But then we're coming back. Like, it's not. Why is it not working? God, John from Braintree, I could really use somebody that knows how to do this crap. Horrible. All right, so give me a second. I'll be right back. I'm sorry, guys. My apologies. guys. I think we got it this time. We'll see. But thanks for hanging out. Once again, whatever platform you're listening on, don't forget to go over to YouTube, which is Renegade Radio Boston. Renegade Radio Boston. You can join our chat room over there. And I see numbers going up and down a lot. It's nice seeing you guys again. Missed you guys very much. I really did. And let's see, people are asking, are we going to be doing this every day? Yeah, what the hell? We'll come on and do like an hour or so. I'm going to be recording. I don't know if I could do this while I'm on YouTube or not. Maybe that's the problem. But I'm trying to just come up with a silly demo. I just, the whole opening of the show thing always throws me off because I'm not used to doing it. That's John's thing. You know what I mean? Like I used to just sat here kind of all dopey and, hey, welcome back to Renegade Radio. I just stare. Yay, welcome back. Hey, John. You know, and that was that. And now I got to do it. And it throws me off because I don't know how to get into the conversation. Oh, look, hey, our buddy Ed's in the chat room. Hi, Ed. Yeah, we've been on for a little bit, brother. We're going to be doing this once. Well, I say we, it's me. Going to be doing this probably for like an hour a day, Monday through Friday, again, because we missed you guys. Or I missed you guys. And I'm going to keep you guys up to date on what's going on. Hopefully, we'll be back on terrestrial soon. Not sure when. This is a new plan of attack. Hopefully, it will work a lot quicker than the old way. And then we could get me a job in radio, and I'll pull John in, and we'll have Renegade Radio back on the air without them even knowing it. We'll sneak attack them. So what we're going to do, and people are asking me, by the way, what's with all the train? I don't know. There was just 2 songs. I like that. Actually, no, wait a minute. No, the other one wasn't Train, you dopes. That was Creed. It's not this one. This is Creed too. Okay, now you can say I played the same band twice. Before you couldn't, though. You were incorrect. But yeah, because it was Creed then Train. I know they kind of sound alike, and I think they're around the same era. So you're not 100% wrong. It's relatively depressing songs. Like, you know what I mean? When you think about like this song, I love this song. I think personally, I find it to be almost inspirational in a way. In a way, I don't know if it's supposed to be, because that whole thing where you're talking about being 6 feet from the edge and it doesn't seem so far. I think a lot of us can identify with that. But I do think that it's an inspirational song. It's a good song. Here, listen. Yeah, I did this song. All right. So anyway, it's not Train though. Well, the other one's Train. All right. So maybe I won't even do an opening. You know what I mean? We'll just jump right into the topic. I think I could do that better than doing this opening thing. You know what I mean? Because I love. I gotta tell you something, guys. I have missed looking at a chat room and seeing people say, "Hi Ed, hi Brian, hi Steve, hi." It's like the Waltons. Hi John Boy. Everybody's saying hello. We all missed each other. See, that's what I'm saying. We gotta get this dumb show back on the air. You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be a way for us to force this. I don't remember exactly what I said in the last 2 hours because I've been rambling. But I will tell you, I do think that terrestrial radio is a bizarre thing right now. Oh, by the way, I just played songs for you guys. I don't think the YouTube people could hear the songs. I think the people that were listening on the other app can. Weird. So you guys don't even know what I was talking about with that whole Creed thing. That must have sounded bizarre when you think about it. So I guess it doesn't matter. I could just start the show. But anyway, let's see. Where do we want to start? We have the guy. Oh, that was it, right? Steve said the guy that fell in the puddle, and he did fall. I didn't push him. Guy and puddle is what I'm going to write down. Swimming in sewage. Getting the watch from China. That's kind of. I mean, granted, they're all dated, but the puddle guy, that was recent. The swimming in sewage is when I was a kid, but that doesn't really matter. What do we think? What do we think, everybody? Is it too dated? Let's see, what else? So if you have a story from the old show that you like that we told, send it in and try to put it in this new demo. All right. So let me just get rid of this. See, since you guys can't hear the music, I don't even know why I'm still playing it. Well, I guess, with other people. But I can't even see if they're liking it or not because they're not in the chat room, which they should be at Renegade Radio Boston. Go to YouTube, search us, and do that there. So, all that is, I don't want to stop this song until it's over, but nobody can hear it. I'm stopping it. All right, there we go.
So let's see. So anyway, let me just do okay. And we'll mark it at 9:20. Okay. Well, what happened was I went on to Google, and this is the problem right now with people like censoring information, which is crazy because it happens whether it's through your news sources, like TV or newspaper, internet, websites, what all that. It's all filtered through their agenda. It doesn't matter which agenda it is. The left has theirs, the right has theirs, and never are the two going to mix because if you think I'm crazy, do yourself a favor, go to Google, right? And then on another tab, open up what's that? DuckDuckGo, okay? Or whatever you think is kind of a straight shooting type of search engine. And put in the same keywords. Like I put in LA Dodgers in both. Now, what happened was on Google, I got the history of the Dodgers. I know who Sandy Koufax is. Whole bunch of Dodger factoids that I never knew. And then when I put it into DuckDuckGo, I got how it says that Dodger Stadium was virtually empty after Pride backlash, but the game actually had a higher attendance than normal. Now, see, that's from a Yahoo News. See how, here's the truth. Here's the truth of it all, everybody. And we'll get into exactly what happened in a second. But, it says Dodger Stadium was virtually empty after Pride backlash. Now, that's true. I saw videos. There are videos of this, and it's empty. There's probably a few hundred people in there. But the game actually had attendance higher than normal. What's their point? The point should be that, yes, people boycotted and didn't like what you did because it was really sacrilegious. I mean, I don't know why we live in a time now where everybody feels free to attack Catholics for whatever reason. But the LA Dodgers had invited the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. Now, like anybody else, I didn't know what the hell that meant. And then I looked it up, and it's just disgusting. It's blasphemous. It's ridiculous. This has no place in anything civilized. It just doesn't. And it certainly shouldn't be at a baseball game. What the hell does this have to do with a baseball game? And it shouldn't be at a baseball game where there are children present. Where is this sexuality, enforcing sexuality on children coming from? Not only are they forcing, men dressing like women, but they're also forcing the mocking of major religions. Like, that's weird. You're a baseball organization. Hit the ball, catch the ball, run around, and shut your face. But other than that, nobody cares what you think about the gay community. And here's the other thing. Was it really worth pissing off tens of thousands of Dodger fans for the probably 35 transsexuals that go to games? Do you really look in the stands and see a whole bunch of transsexuals there every night that are paying your bills, that are buying, the beer for $12, that are buying your shirts for 70, the jerseys for $70? Bring it up. You're really bread and butter is the family, because you know why? Mom, dad, 2 kids. You're talking about $800 for the day, and that doesn't include parking. You know what I mean? So instead of, I don't know, sticking to what once again, know how to make pine tar and how high up on the bat it's allowed to go. Other than that, shut up, and certainly don't bring a whole bunch of men that are going to mock the Catholic religion onto the field and honor them. What are you honoring them for? What exactly was the honor? Are they bringing honor to the transsexual community by mocking Jesus Christ and dressing up like nuns? That's bringing some sort of honor to anything? Like, I don't understand. Did they save like a bus full of kids that was, went off a cliff and the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence all flew down there and saved the children? No, they're a bunch of degenerate scumbags that for some reason feel it's okay to attack the Catholic religion, Jesus Christ, and anybody who believes in them. It's really sickening. And I can't believe that's, what's going on in Major League Baseball now. Like, I've been out for a while, you know what I mean? Like, that when they started bringing their politics into it, I wasn't happy, but I was out even before then, because when I was younger, I used to be a New York Yankee fan. I was a huge New York Yankee fan. I lived in New York for the majority of my life. My brother was a Yankee fan. I have been to probably thousands of Yankee games. I've watched. I mean, there was probably decades where I could tell you from preseason to the World Series, I had never missed a game. Whether I was listening on the radio, watching on TV, or there in person, never missed a game. And I really felt like, we're all together. We won, we this. And then one day I met Jorge Posada, the great Jorge Posada, who is a catcher for the Yankees. If you believe the hype and all the stories, he's a really nice man who just gives to charity. He's just a sweetheart of a guy. And when I met him, he was a jerk off. He really was. He was just a nasty, self-entitled, no cameras around, I don't have to be nice to you a-hole. And that turned me off. And then I realized the more of them I had met, that seemed to be the MO. They're just privileged jocks. They're not these guys where you hear the story about how this one, was it Cal Ripken Jr. would stand outside the stadium and hand roses to ladies as they came in on Mother's Day. Can't do that anymore, by the way. Had to hand them to everybody. But Cal Ripken was a jerk off too when I met him. You know what I mean? Like, they're all just self-entitled rich people. That's all it is. It doesn't make them any better, but I was out before then. Now that they're decided, like, they can not only tell you or mock your political beliefs, but they're coming after your religion. That's huge. Do they really believe that anybody values baseball more than they, value their religion with God? It's very weird. So anyway, this is the way Yahoo News is presenting this story, everybody. So it says, the LA Dodgers Pride Night turned out controversial when an activist group that offended the religious right was involved. The religious right. The religious left didn't care. Is that what you're supposed to take from that? So it's only see how they do that? Because now the right, everything associated with the right is bad, by the way, because you're far right. What you want safe, closed borders? What are you, a Nazi? Yeah, you're far right. Here we go. Next point. Conservatives touted a video of a nearly empty stadium as a win, claiming they staged a successful boycott. In reality, the game had a higher than average attendance and religious groups protested outside. You know something? F Yahoo News. See how biased this is? This is ridiculous, because here's the thing. The point of it was they were honoring this sacrilegious bunch of dirtbags at Dodger Stadium. And the people said, well, we don't want to see it. We're not going to participate. So they stayed outside and thousands of people protested. Okay. As far as going to the game, yeah, I'm sure everybody who bought tickets didn't know it was, the Sister of Perpetual Indulgent night when they bought them. And to drop them, a few $100s to go in? Of course they're going to go in. But they're acting like, well, something, it didn't really do. Your protest didn't do anything. The Sisters of whatever still got their little awards, which just is mind-boggling to me. It says conservatives appear gleeful that they may have just scored another cultural war win. This time, though, Major League Baseball and the Los Angeles Dodgers were their victims. But they claim to have successfully boycotted a Dodger game for its LGBTQ pride participation and guest, notably echoing by president candidate Ron DeSantis, appears to be false. Leading up to the game's 10th annual Pride Night, the Dodgers disinvited and then reinvited the Sisters, a nonprofit order of queer and trans nuns, which some religious conservatives found to be offensive to Christianity and Catholicism. Oh, which ones? Were there many conservatives or religious people that found the fact that men dressing like nuns and mocking Jesus Christ on a cross would be offensive? Anybody? Or just some? Because I know it's just a religious right that cares. The religious left was all about it. They think they didn't push it far enough. Then they said, we have asked the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence to take their place on the field of our 10th annual LGBTQ plus Pride Night on June 16th, the team said, as they re-invited them on Twitter. We are pleased to share that they have agreed to receive the gratitude of our collective communities for the life-saving work they have done tirelessly for decades. While the satire group was given a community activism award at Dodger Stadium on Friday, religious groups protested outside the stadium and briefly shut down the main entrance. See, it's all about just putting down. It didn't work. They shut down briefly. Ron DeSantis, who launched his 2024 presidential campaign, tweeted in support of the protesters and claimed that the stadium was virtually empty. Conservatives circulated photos and videos which were repeatedly taken before the opening pitch of a near-empty stadium. Well, here's the thing. The ceremony, I believe, was half an hour before the game. So why would they be videotaping the game when they were videotaping the sisters on the field getting applauded by 10 people? It's silly. They say that Americans are fed up with this nonsense and we're starting to fight back. In reality, the game surpassed the team's average of attendance of 47,800. So you didn't do anything, you stupid Catholics. Our paid attendance on Friday night was 49,000, said senior director of public relations for the Dodgers. They still haven't apologized. They didn't come out. They think they're right for doing this. Now, this is what I say to the people of the Dodgers. If you're so brave, I want to see you do the same thing. And I'm sure there are groups out there that, I don't know, let's pick a different religion right off the top of my head. Muslim. I want you to invite a gay Muslim group, that is mocking Allah to your stadium and honor them. And we'll see how you really support that LBGTQ plus community. It's nothing. This was a bad move. This is the Bud Light move all over again. These people think they're woke and they're gonna get some sort of reward from this left, but they don't realize the left stinks. The left are a bunch of corrupt, crazy, insensitive jerk offs that really don't care about anything. They're out to destroy, not make. So, if that's what you want, that's fine. But when push comes to shove, you lost a lot of people. Like I said, I wasn't watching baseball anyway, but I certainly wouldn't be watching the Dodgers anytime soon. So that's just absolutely ridiculous. So anyway, it's saying our group is strengthened, practiced, and uplifted to a position where we now may offer a message of hope and joy to far more people than before. With great love and respect, we thank each person and organization that have spoken up for us. This is disgusting. I mean, has anybody seen the videos? Do you see what they are? Don't believe this BS comment. This comment is obviously just to shape an image. But when you saw the videos and see what they actually do and how they actually dress, and that's enough. That's enough. You'll get it. Ugh, makes me sick. All right. Well, anyway, let's see. What we can do, I'm going to stop that right there, is go to another one. I don't like that. I didn't like that little rant. I'd rather just talk to you guys instead of whatever. Boy, okay, but here's the thing. I mean, I don't know if you guys. I'm not sure if anybody has really seen it yet. But if you've seen the pictures, it's disturbing. It's. I mean, the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. They're men dressed as women, and they're just. And there's like, I don't know, people around them laughing and giggling, and they think it's cute. And it's just so sacrilegious. It's just disgusting to see this and to just think that they're allowing this, and promoting this like in a baseball stadium. I don't understand. Who thought this was a good idea. I know that somebody had some common sense for a minute and canceled it, but then immediately they got some backlash from the gay community and they reinvited them. But once again, I'm not being a jerk here. You got to know which side your bread is buttered on. And the other thing is you have to understand what you are. You're a baseball team, nothing more. You mean nothing more to anybody than just being a baseball team. Nobody looks to you for advice. Nobody gives a crap what you think about gay people or straight people or religion or any of it. You play baseball for a living. You're a bunch of grown men, that spit and grab their junk in front of people. And, you're the luckiest people on the planet. You really are. That the fact that you have that particular skill that you could hit a ball or you could catch a ball and you could do it better than anybody. God love you. But once again, don't give two craps about what you think about God. I don't care what you think about Trump. I don't care what you think about anything. You're there to help me waste time. You know what I mean? Baseball, what? Well, now that they sped it up, it's a lot shorter, but it used to be like a 4 or 5 hour game. I got a night to burn. You know what I mean? I'll watch the game. And that's what it is. Nothing more. Nobody needed you. It's just sickening. And then they have this thing too. I don't know if you've seen this, which a little off topic, but did you see that China now? We sent Blinkton over and it did nothing, by the way. Yeah, if anything, it pissed the Chinese off. But now the Chinese have threatened the U.S. food supplies. It says right now there are 38 million Americans struggling with food insecurities. But as a result, this is incredible. So they're threatening, I guess, our grain and our food supplies. And Russia has done the same thing because they said that there was, I guess, some issues with, I don't know, us funding people that are bombing them. I don't say anything bad about the Ukraine, everybody. But now we're going to risk our food supplies over this. Like I'm a little weirded out by the whole Ukraine thing. Am I the only one that, I don't really give a shit. You know what I mean? I don't, and I don't. I feel bad for him if it was real. I mean, all I know is I would like to know how many billions we've given to the Ukraine in the year, a little bit over a year. I believe it's some crazy number, man. It's a few $100 billion. Like almost, I know what I think, and I'm just going to say I think it's at least $250 billion. We just had a friggin' bridge collapse. Remember, because remember the infrastructure of this country and it's falling apart, but we have no money to fix it. Well, what about some of that $250 billion? That could have helped, but they don't do anything like that. It's crazy. The milk puddle, John. I'm sorry, guys. It just chat room caught my eye. The milk puddle, is that the one there was detergent I slipped in. The milk puddle was at 7-Eleven, I think. Oh, that could be a good one. Boomer says, don't forget Renegade Radio was on satellite radio, the free kind. That is great, but no one seems to use it. Wait, don't forget Renegade Radio was on satellite radio, the free kind. That's great, but nobody seemed to use it. I don't know what that means. So if you could explain that, Boomer, I would appreciate it, sir or ma'am. Let's see. I totally agree. Okay. You know something? All right. I just got to figure this out real quick. I stop this right here. We're going to do 2 more topics and get out of here. If you guys want to talk about anything in particular, just let me know. And I am going to be right back. Oh, what's a good song here? I'll play some 80s stuff because you know me, I love my 80s stuff. Let's see what I got. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Is that all? Here you go. So I'll be right back, guys. And you know what I just realized as I left? You guys can't hear the music anyway. So you guys are just sitting there in silence. I'm sorry. I totally forgot you can't hear the music. I can. It makes it any better, and it's an old Def Leppard song. I thought that would have been nice. But you guys couldn't hear anything. I can't. Anyone else hear the music? I can't hear anything. Ah, shut up, Ed. I realized it after I left. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. Now you're saying it's static, guys. You know something? Not a clue why any of that happens. I don't have a clue. I wish I did. I'd fix it if I could, but I don't know. What are you gonna do? But I'm liking the songs. I mean, I'm pretty good at this DJ thing, you know. Especially if it was like I don't know, 1993. I'd be playing all the hits. All right. So what we could do here, I just turn the music off for everybody else that's on different platforms listening. So you got to suffer with us because it's not fair. Go to Renegade. Actually, if you could listen on that, I don't know what that other app is called, and then go to YouTube to Renegade Radio Boston. Then you could chat and listen, hear the music, but whatever. Hey, far be it for me to tell you guys what to do. All right, so let me just do this real quickly. All right. How do you do this? Open. Nope, that's not what I want. Add track. I don't know how to do that. All right. And things have got to get better. Crazy. All right. So we're going to say that is at 24. That makes sense to me. 24. Boop. All right. So before we get this started, I don't know if I know we haven't talked in a while, but I got the luck of the Irish. Like I'm very Irish, I'm very pale skinned. My face gets red, if I drink or if I get angry. You could also because of I'm being Irish. I've always gotten this thing my entire life where people will ask me what's wrong all the time. What's wrong, Bry? Are you mad? Who you mad? What happened? What happened, Bry? You all right? I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, if I don't smile, I look pissed, and it's just an Irish face. It's the curse of the Irish is what it is. But you know, on top of that, we have very very pale skin. So I never go to the beach. Last time I was at the beach, I was probably well, that's not true. I went last year. All right, before last year, the last time I had gone to the beach was probably, I don't know, 30 years or so. Like I don't go to the beach. And when I do go, I wear a shirt, I wear pants that literally cover me from my hips all the way down to my ankles. I know the ladies are disappointed, but yes, totally covered. I wear like a heavy metal burqa, like from the top of my chest all the way down to the top of my toes are covered, usually in black, black shirt, black pants, black boots. But and that's how I dress at the beach. Which when I guess there are a few things. When I went to the Virgin Islands, there's pictures of me at the beach dressed like that. And then when John and 3 to 7 and I went to Vegas and we were doing those shows, I was at the pool dressed exactly like that. So I'm not a sun guy. So I, I've lost a little bit of weight over the last few months. Boy, depression's great that way. Um, and I was it was I guess like 2 weeks ago. It was that one really beautiful day. It was like because it was 60 degrees every day and kind of rainy. And then one day it was 80 something, just out of nowhere. Beautiful sky, beautiful sun, not a cloud in the sky, beautiful sun. Just it was great. So I decided because I live by the water. I'm gonna go to the beach and see what it's like. So I go and there's nobody there. It's just me. I'm thinking, all right, you know something? I'm taking my shirt off. You know what I mean? Because I was always embarrassed because I was a little chubby. Um, and I was like, no, nobody's around, and I feel okay recently. All right, I'm going to take my shirt off, whatever. So I took my shirt off, and I got to admit, I loved it. The feel of the sun, it was so warm and so nice. I was like, holy crap. So I actually went and I found a pair of sweatpants and I cut the legs off them so I could wear shorts because that's what trashy people like myself do. Poverty stricken. I'm not spending $50 on shorts when I could just cut the legs off a sweatpants I'm not going to wear anyway. So anyway, I did that. I went back to the beach. I laid out. I put the music on. I just laid there. It was phenomenal. And it was so nice and warm and the sun felt great. And I did take an edible in all honesty. And I fell asleep. And it was probably around, I figured I don't want to go, at a bad time. So I was there at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, right when the sun is at its brightest right over my head. And I fell asleep and I think I woke up at 2 in the afternoon. Thankfully, once again, I went to a beach where there was no one else there because I didn't want anyone else to see me. But there was no one else to wake me up either. And I didn't use any sunscreen because I didn't think I was going to be out that long. I thought I was just going to hang out for maybe 5 minutes on each side, give a little flip, and then I'm out the door. So anyway, I wake up about 2 hours later, and I immediately kind of know something's not right. Like how like you're like I kind of moved a little bit, and my skin felt like it was crunchy, if that makes sense. And I'm like, all right, well, that's probably whatever. I got a little bit. I looked at my arms, and once again, I'm pale white, and I was already pinkish. Like I kind of look like a brand new baby's hiney after it gets spanked when he's born. And I'm like, oh, that's probably not good. So I walked over to where they had a public bathroom, which is really disgusting, but like there was a big mirror in there, and I'm thinking, oh, let me just get out. And I kind of just wanted to get out of the sun for a minute because I was really hot at that point and sweaty. And I got out, and as I walked into the bathroom. And now, hey, there's no lights on in there. It's kind of like one of those disgusting. I guarantee you that there have been many a drug shot up there, and probably many other crimes committed there, because it was just like this brick building hut type of thing with no electricity, 2 urinals and 2 toilets, and a big mirror. And when I came in, though, there's no light, so I'm kind of out of the light now. My eyes are kind of adjusting, but as I see myself in the mirror, all I see from my face all the way to my waist is just pink. Like I'm already pink. And I'm like, oh, right. And then I kind of look at my legs and they're really pink. So I lift my shorts up a little bit to see that line. And I am friggin' burnt, man. And I'm thinking, wait a second. I always thought this took a little time, So I'm like, all right, I don't have that much time. I got to get out of here. I got to get home and figure out something to do here. So I go, and as soon as I go to sit in the car is when I realize I'm going to have problems because I put my leg in and I couldn't bend it because it hurt too much to bend. So then I had to kind of scoop my butt in and then swing the other leg in real quick. I'm like, all right. So I put the air conditioner on full blast. I got it blown on my legs and my chest and the whole thing. I'm like, this sucks. And I went and I bought aloe because that's what everybody always says. You got to use aloe, bro. You got aloe will be great. By the time I got home, I was probably 20 shades redder than I was when I was at the beach. So in 20 minutes, like I kept cooking. Now I get what they mean. I've never been a good cook, but I always overcook stuff because I'll say cook for 45 minutes. But then one of my friends that was a chef said, you realize that when you take it out of the oven, it's still technically cooking because it's still that temperature and it cooks for a certain amount of time afterwards. Never knew that. Well, apparently, so does your skin because when I got home, I was walking like I was on stilts and my arms kind of like were tied out and I just couldn't bend anywhere. My elbows wouldn't bend, my knees couldn't bend. I got to bed and I I put this aloe stuff, which is really aloe is weird. Aloe is very weird, by the way. Why is it that aloe that's not in a refrigerator or a freezer, it's just at room temperature, when you put it on, it feels ice cold? Am I the only one that figured that out? That uncomfortably cold. Now I'm burnt from the top of my hairline all the way down to the top of my toes. So I got to use a S ton of aloe. So I'm putting it on and it's torture. Every time some of it hits me, it's like freezing cold and whatever. So I put it all on. I it took me, no joke, probably about 2 to 3 days before I could really get out of bed without it being excruciating. I couldn't sleep for like 2 days because anytime I moved, it was just crazy. Worst part is though, I'm burnt on the front. Okay, but I never flipped over. Like so, my back and everything is still totally pale white. I mean, 100%. Still, 30 years of never seeing the sun. My back and back of my legs, but the front just totally the opposite. It's the craziest thing in the world, and it looks bizarre, but it hurts. Now, this happened 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, and it's still it's starting to heal now. I think it was like 3 or 4 days ago. I got so itchy, and I realized that was the skin, just like the dry skin saying, "All right, we out of here." And I don't know what was worse, the sunburn or the itching for 24/7, for a day or two, just itching at yourself. And then like it's gross because it's like you're a snake shedding skin. There's skin flakes flying all over the place. It's nasty. Thankfully I live alone, so it doesn't matter if my skin flakes are anywhere, but just nasty. So that's kind of what's been going on with me for the 2 weeks. It's kind of like when somebody asked me why I hadn't been to the beach in so long. And it's when I was younger, I used to live near Sandy Hook, New Jersey, which is a beautiful beach in New Jersey, over by Seabright in the Highlands. It's gorgeous. It's one of those places that like it's right on the tip of the south. I don't know. Was it south? No, it's central Jersey. Whatever. You're pretty much right across from New York. Not really. Actually, forget everything I just said because you're not really across from New York. That would be more Hoboken. You're kind of down south of New York, but you got a beautiful view of the skyline across the water. So it's, the water, probably for, I don't know, 30 miles, whatever. And then on the other side is the New York skyline. Absolutely gorgeous. But when I was younger, we used to go to Sandy Hook a lot. And I had gone with a bunch of my friends who happened to be Greek. Like we were going with their aunt, and her aunt had just come over from Greece. Beautiful woman, gorgeous tan. I mean, I was probably, I don't know, 8 years old, 9 years old. So she was in her 30s, but I just remember her being one of the most pretty women I've ever seen in person. Like she had the hair, the eyes, the tan, just gorgeous. And she was bringing her nephew and her niece to the beach and said, "Why don't you come with us?" I was like, "Okay." That was the night before. Now at like 5:30 in the morning, there's somebody knocking on my door, and it's my friend saying, "Grab your stuff, we're going." What are you talking about? The sun's not even up. She was the type of person that wanted to be there when the sun got up and would stay there all day. Like it wasn't like a 1 or 2 hour thing. It wasn't like an Irish guy thing where you'd go for 15 minutes and then run to the car and put on, some Noxzema. She wanted to be there all day, and she so much so, like she was so I'll never forget. I was putting on sunblock, and she was putting on baby oil. Like, so I'm trying to repel as much sun as possible. She's trying to absorb it. She wanted me to stand next to her so the rays would bounce off me and she could collect more. But she brought us there. Like I said, nice beach, but it's early and whatever. So all you have to do, because the beaches in New Jersey, some of them are great because they'll have like boardwalks. Now, I know here in Massachusetts, a boardwalk is not the same thing as it is in New Jersey. A boardwalk in New Jersey means rides, games, food, bars, restaurants. It's fun. And then, of course, the beach. There's a boardwalk and a beach. It's just great. I know here in Massachusetts, a boardwalk means literally a boardwalk. It is just, a wooden planked deck that you walk upon. It's boards that you walk on because everything in Massachusetts is literal. And if you don't believe me, go order a cheese pizza pie because you have to say it that way or nobody knows what you're talking about. But what I'm saying is, so anyways, I know I'm rambling. But so we got there and we're doing our thing, and when you go to that part of the beach, there's nothing there. It's just sand and beach. There's nothing to drink. There's no buildings. There's nothing. It's just nothing. So we got there very early, and I'd say, I don't know, probably around 11 o'clock. I wanted to go home, and she's like, we're here till like 7. Like, she had to spend her 12 hours a day at the beach. And my friend and I, it was my friend and his little sister. We all went into the water together. And, it was low tide. So we got out pretty far because, when the tide goes out, as weird as it is, I was probably, 5'6" ish at that time. The water was just up to my chest. So we just kept walking out with the water and we're talking and playing. And you don't think about it, kind of swimming around, goofing around. And then finally you look behind you and you realize that the beach is, I don't know, like half a mile away, or like you're really far out. You just didn't realize because the water's so low. And as we're doing this, like my friend and I are talking, and the water kind of comes up to our neck, and his sister was shorter, so we're kind of holding her up a little bit so she can bounce with the waves. And all of a sudden, we notice that there's this black slick on top of the water, and it's coming towards us. And we're like, oh man, that's disgusting. Let's try to get out of this. So we all kind of turn, and we're trying to swim away towards the shore, away from this black slick. But we're not getting anywhere. I guess there was like an undertow. I don't know what it was, but it almost, the harder you swam, the more you got pulled back. And it was just like, ugh. So my friend says to me, we're going to have to swim through this stuff, and we didn't know what it was. Like back then we thought it was algae and, you weren't thinking. Or oil, maybe the Exxon Valdez oil spill finally made it to New Jersey. But as he's saying this, he's like, we could either swim through it or swim under it. Let's swim under it. So we all take a big breath and we go under the water and we start swimming. And once again, now you're kind of swimming with the current a little bit. So we come up because I can't hold my breath anymore, and just right in the middle of this stuff, and all three of us. So we got this brownish stuff. It almost looked like chocolate syrup-ish running on our hair and our face. It's just weird. And it stinks. And like, what is this? So we all hold our breath again and we go under the water and we come up, boom, right into it again. I'm like, how big is this slick? We thought we'd be on the other end of it. And we do it again and we do it again. And finally, we hear from the shore, like one of the lifeguards with a bullhorn. And he just says, "Attention, you are playing in raw sewage." Ugh. So yeah, that was the last time I went to the beach. I played in raw sewage. He didn't say you're swimming in raw sewage. You found yourself and whatever. He used the word playing. Like we actually said to each other when we were on the beach, look, grab your stuff and let's go out, I don't know, about a mile away from shore because I hear there's a sewage leak and we'll just have a lot of fun over there. So once that happened, I mean, I got, I have a weird germ issue. Then I think that's what really kicked it off. But even then I had a germ issue. Like now I would probably take a lighter and burn my skin off. You know what I mean? Just imagine how raw sewage, and think about it was in your hand. I don't want to touch me after thinking about that. It just totally skeezes me out. That was just horrible. Yuck. But now, if I don't know if you could tell on the camera, it actually doesn't look bad now. Like I'm not pink anymore, but it took a while. But and it's not tan. Like it like literally. Well, it's tanner than this side, but like look at that. Like all the skin peeled off, and now it's almost as white as the front. So I went through almost 2 weeks torture, literally 2 weeks of burning and not sleeping and whatever for absolutely no tan whatsoever. It is the curse of the Irish. You know what I mean? It is the absolute curse of the Irish. Let's see real quick in the chat room. If you do want to go to chat room, talk to some of our buddies that are all getting reacquainted because we all missed each other. Go to Renegade Radio Boston on YouTube. Let's see. Can anyone else hear the music? All right, I already read that one. Ed said, I just put myself in the corner. Good. Boomer says, you can buy a radio like $70 that has 30,000 stations of programming for free, and Renegade Radio was running 24/7. Oh, you're talking about our streamer. You're talking about our streamer. Yeah, we had a streamer up for a while, and that just went to the wayside as well. And that's because selling is so much different than doing the show. Doing the show is easy. You know what I mean? It really is. It's just fun and you're goofing around with people and whatever. But selling, that's an art, man. And I can't do it. I've never been a good salesman. Never. Even when I was a stockbroker for a while and I was in full service. I sucked, man. I couldn't put the squeeze on people. I don't know how to close. I don't, you know why? Because I don't like putting pressure on people like that. That sucks. Like that just, ugh. And when you're doing the radio thing, it's such a weird thing to try to sell as well. And then you got to have numbers behind you. Otherwise, yeah, you have to be on terrestrial or you have to have major numbers. I actually know, excuse me, I actually know a friend of mine's kid who is right now a huge success on YouTube. Has over 1 million followers, makes six figures, and he's a kid. But it's because he found a niche and he's good at what he does. But he found a niche. John and I never looked for the niche. We would just come in. The whole point of this, by the way, of doing the show after MEX Stop was just to stay in practice because our agent, well, you're gonna have to move one day. It's gonna be like one of these things, turnkey operation. So we just kept doing it. One, because we love it, but two, because we were staying in practice. That's why we kind of didn't try to sell it either. It was stupid. We should have. We definitely should have. Hindsight's 2020 though. Let's see. It said that must have hurt like hell. What are you talking about? The poop? I don't know which one you're talking about. No, it's disgusting. Oh, you're talking about sunburn. Oh, it did hurt like hell, dude. And honestly, I guess I'm almost over it now, but my chest is crazy. I'll never take my shirt off again at a beach. Never. I mean, once again, sorry, ladies, you'll have to deal with it. But no, I don't think I could do that anymore because yikes, that definitely hurt, man. Let's see what else is going on here. Oh my God, you're describing my wife's family. Wait, now I want to know what you're talking about with your wife's family because that I babbled too much. I don't know which one you're talking about there, John. Let's see. Steve says, "Didn't you also get it? Oh, you wanted the jellyfish story? Yeah. Okay. I do have a few stupid stories about. Something. Let me just stop this recording very quickly because I got to send all this to my poor friend Dave, and I'm just letting it run. It's like 2 hours, and this I know he's not going to want to look through that crap. I wouldn't. And it's me. So I'm just going to say this, and then we'll start on. That's a good one. Thank you, Steve. I didn't remember that at all. It actually happened. Swear to God, that was the same day. It really was the same day. I don't know why I ended that story. I don't know. I don't want to bore you with the sewage story again and then into that, but I'm sure there's a way he could probably edit it all together. So I'm just waiting for this to save. It's going to take about 20 seconds. But how have you guys been, by the way? Like I know I kind of give you an update of the show and kind of what's going on with me and whatever, but how the hell have you guys been? It has been a way too long for until we all have spoke. And like I said, no, that's our fault. That was one of those things, man. It still is one of those things. You know what I mean? It's like I'm gonna come on. I'm gonna try to do it 5 days a week, at least an hour a day, until I get something. But I'm thinking we could get something relatively quickly. I mean, to admit, like from that meeting that we just had, and now we know what we have to bypass. I think the meeting was not good because we found out things we should have found out years ago about just the amount of effort being put behind us. Because we really thought there was a lot more effort, and we kind of leaned back on that, And now I realize that there's zero. So if we don't, no one does. So that's got to be the attitude, and I think that we kind of went about that all wrong. But you live and learn. So now we're just going to keep pushing. And like I said, we'll get me on the air, and then I'm going to bring John on. And like I said, we're going to force him to put on Renegade Radio, whether they like it or not. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be the same show. Actually, even better. Let's see. Oh, John said they like their family because they're Greek, and when they go to the beach, it's for the day. You know something, man? That whole thing, man. Like when we went, and she meant it, dude. Like I'm not joking. And like I said, I'm an Irish guy. I don't really do the sun, and if I do, it's really limited. And how about this? Why are you bringing kids to a beach that's like for like the adults? Like the other beaches would have playgrounds on it. They'd have like a little snack bar where you could go get out of the sun. They'd have the showers. They would just have little stupid things because Sandy Hook Beach isn't like a boardwalk. It's just beaches. So, but they would have those other things. She took us to the part of Sandy Hook that had nothing because she didn't want anybody else around. She just wanted the sun to herself. And man, like like even if you wanted a drink, this is going back to the 90s. But I remember she left the drinks in the car and like didn't not even in a cooler. So I went to take a sip of soda. Have you ever drank hot soda? Like that, first off, if you're thirsty, you'll try to drink anything, but that ain't gonna quench your thirst. Number one, and two, it's disgusting. Um, but with that's all we had. So yeah, all right. So here, let's see. This just stopped recording here. Bink. All right, there we go. All right. So yeah, the same day that happened, that I went and I didn't even the sunburn I got that day was comparable to the stuff I just had, by the way, because I at some point found a bunch of rocks, like because there was like a jetty type thing, and I kind of sat on a rock in between other rocks just for the shade because it was so effing hot, and this woman didn't care that she had these 3 kids that would die in a heat stroke. Like she just did it was her whole thing was, well, then you shouldn't have come. You know what I mean? I told you I was coming to the beach. I go to the beach for 12 hours. If you didn't want to stay for 12 hours, shouldn't have came. Sucks to be you. I kept thinking like, well, I'm 9. What am I supposed to do? Hitchhike back? You know what I mean? Like, okay, I made a mistake. I got to suffer for this. So I remember hiding in between those rocks and the water coming up, and it was just crazy because the water smells. It's Jersey. You know what I mean? It's not like I was in Hawaii, or the Virgin Islands. It's freaking New Jersey. You know what I mean? And freaking needles and cans and garbage, thumbs, everything is washing up. It's disgusting. Water stinks like ass. You know what I mean? Not all of it, by the way, just some of it, especially the part by the sewage break. But what had happened the same day was I think I had, I guess that, like I said, that had to be around early after or late morning, early afternoon, like 11, 12. We had gone back in the water to cool off. It was so hot. There was nothing else you could do. So we went into the water to cool off, and it was my friend and his sister and myself. And we decided we were going to jump into the waves, like, dive headfirst into the waves. That seems like fun. And, we're kids, and there's of course, she's, flipped over on her stomach sleeping. She's not even paying attention. There's no lifeguard on duty. And it's just, 3 kids all under the age of 10, in the Atlantic Ocean. What could possibly go wrong? So as we're out there diving into the waves, my friend goes and his sister goes and I go, and I'm thinking this is pretty cool. And I'm not a swimmer at that. Once again, I'm not an outside guy. Don't like the sun. Definitely don't like the ocean. But this is one of my first times out there. And I'm like, something? This is what I've been missing. This is actually kind of cool. So we're all jumping. And then when a wave comes, you can jump up with it and it brings you up high in the air and then like gently places your little feet down on the ocean floor. It's great. So as we're doing this, we're jumping into the waves and whatever. And I jumped into the waves. And when I stood up, I felt like something like stung me, or like maybe like a rock had hit the side of my head. Something weird. It was a stinging feeling. I'm like, ow, right? And it was on one side, and then it was on the top of my head and on the left side of my head. And it was almost like somebody. The only way I could describe it is if you've ever been electrocuted. And I'm not saying that's common. Everybody's been electrocuted, but I think most of us have gotten a jolt one time in our life. Especially if you're over the age of 35, because at some point your father made you hold 2 wires together that you probably shouldn't have touched that you did, or something silly like that, and you kind of feel that jolt, or you put your tongue on the bottom of a battery and you feel that jolt. And I felt that on my head. And I'm thinking, wow, this really hurt. What the hell is going on? And I stood up and I look at my friend and I'm like, ow, ow. And I'm raising my hands and he can't see anything. He's like, what's the matter? What's the matter? And I touched my head and it just felt like a big bowl of raw egg. Like it just felt like gooey. I'm like, what the hell is this on my head? I'm thinking like, did something get stuck on my head? Am I bleeding? Like what the hell is going on here? I thought I was having a stroke. Once again, we'll explain why I'm so neurotic at my age. At that age, I thought I was having a stroke. So I shouldn't even know what a stroke is at 10, but I was having one. So I had a hypochondriac. So I'm touching my head and I don't know what it is. And finally, he starts yelling jellyfish. And what had happened was when I had dove into the wave, when I had stood up, I had come up under a jellyfish. And the jellyfish, once it gets out of the water, is just going to stick to whatever it's sticking to, man. And it stuck to the top of my head. And those tentacle things, like it has those disgusting long tentacle things, that's what stings you. So it was stinging the entire front, side, back of my head, my top of my chest. It was a big one. It was just absolutely horrific. So and here's the other thing. I have always had a weird thing with textures. I don't like certain, like that's a jellyfish just looks snotty feeling. Like it looks like, like when you have like a bad cold, and you do that one cough, and you're like, ooh, ooh, and you got to spit it out like a pig, and then you see it bounce. You know what I mean? Like that. That's kind of like what it reminds me of. And when I touched my head, it was almost like touching like a plastic, and like my hand almost like kind of like boinged back. And I'm like, oh, but it's stinging the crap out of me. So it's not like I have a lot of time to think of this. So he yells, dive back in the water. So I dive back into the water. I come up and it must have pissed it off, man, because it's really stinging my face now. And I'm like, holy crap. So I go back in the water and I'm pulling at my hair, to try to pull this thing off me because it's like a suction cup on me. And it took, I think, 3 or 4 times of going back in the water trying to pull this stupid thing off. When I had gone back to shore, and now remember, it's still relatively low tide. We're probably about a mile and a half out. I could see his aunt looks like this little tiny dot on the beach. And I'm thinking to myself, and I'm just in such pain. But now I have to walk/swim against the current towards the beach, for, I don't know, 2.5, 3 hours, whatever it took. And when I finally got there, like I guess my face was a little swollen and I had all the marks. And she looked up at me, and I'll never forget because she was a gorgeous woman. She turned over because she was laying on her stomach, and she had her sunglasses on, and she said, "What?" Because I think I was crying, and I said, "I got some my jellyfish." And she was like, "All right, yeah." And then she kind of rolled back over and continued to tan herself while I sat there. I don't know, with my head throbbing for another 2.5 hours in that heat before she'd allow us to leave. So yeah, I never had a lot of good experiences at the beach as a kid. The playing in the raw sewage. Once again, I don't know why, but the word playing is what offends me in that. I wasn't playing in it. I got stuck in it. Maybe you could say that. But I wasn't playing in it. It's not like I picked it up and started splashing people with it. And that the jellyfish that hurt like hell. And this is such a stupid little aside story. I've never bothered to tell it because compared to the poop and the jellyfish, it doesn't mean anything. But I swear to you, I believe, and I do believe this was on the same day, only because I probably at that age had only been to the beach twice. So it was either one or the other. And I do believe this all happened on the same day. But my friend, his little sister, and myself were in the water about waist high, just talking, and a crab had bit my friend. Now I get skeezed thinking, first off, this is the thing I don't like about water, the ocean. I don't want to think anything swimming by me. And once again, I come from New Jersey, so it's not like you can look through the water and say, oh, it's a fish, or oh, it's a this, or oh, look, there's a lobster, something. In Jersey, it's a guessing game. You know what I mean? Because you look down and you just see black water basically from your knees down, from your waist down. I don't know what's swimming in there. I don't know what's under there. You know what I mean? I have not a clue. It could be a zombie under there trying to get me. Who knows? Great white, because they do get like sharks and stuff that come up right on the shore there. You couldn't see it unless you saw the fin. That's why I think Jaws freaked everybody out in Jersey, because it's the only part we'd be able to see is the fin. You hope they're near the top, because if they're under that, you ain't gonna feel anything or see anything. It's just nauseating. Just the Jersey water is just so gross. When I went to the Virgin Islands, though, when I was older, it was the first time I'll never forget. Like when we were landing, I looked out the window and there's the ocean, obviously, and the beach and whatever. And I can actually see through the water. Like I'm seeing the bottom and I'm like, holy crap. Like that's pretty clean. When we landed, we went right to the beach, I never learned. I got burnt there too. But we went right to the beach and I was so happy because I went in the water, and one, it was very warm. It felt like a warm bath. And I went right up to my neck, and it just was the most, I could see my feet. And like I said, being from New Jersey, like for 7 days, I think I went back to the beach every day just so I could get in the water and see my feet. And people are like, why is he so obsessed about? Why is he so shocked he could see his tootsies? And I'm like, you have no clue the filth, the filth that we swam in. I don't understand why people allowed their children to swim in the Atlantic Ocean at all, especially if you live in New Jersey or New York. It's kind of like, let's put it this way, here in Massachusetts and Boston, you see anybody in that Charles River? I'd say no. The people up here, they're dumb. They ain't stupid. They ain't good. We ain't swimming in that. We like the jokes, oh, dirty water, tee-hee, but I ain't swimming in that nonsense. But you go to New Jersey or you go to New York and there are people in it, man. No joke. There are people in it. When I lived in Brooklyn, New York, I'll never forget this. I lived in Brooklyn, New York. And on Saturdays during the summer, if you were walking down, I believe it was like around 86th Street, something like that, there was this whole section that would have fish that they just caught right out of the river. I mean, right there, like you could see the river, right? There's the Verrazano, there's the river. They're catching fish right there, then putting them on like, the ground on the sidewalk and selling them to people. And I'm thinking, like, once again, not to be a prude, I don't think I'm going to eat anything that ate something that was in that water. That thing lived in that water. Ugh, nauseating. It's just so filthy. It's kind of like New York now. Like, I don't know what's going on in New York, man. But like New York is, even before this, like Giuliani had it pretty cleaned up crime wise, and even like sanitation wise, like things were pretty clean. When I lived there, I'll never forget. It was around Christmas time, and we were walking down the street, and there was a row of garbage that literally went an entire length of the street. Like, it was just a whole bunch of green garbage bags lined up on the curb from one end to the other. And as I was walking down, I was talking to somebody, and I looked over and I noticed the bags looked like they were moving. And once again, I'm thinking, wow, you do too much weed. You know what I mean? Because I just thought it was me. And I'm looking, and all of a sudden we stopped, and I kind of looked over as we were talking, and there was like a little hole in between the bags that you could kind of see through, and it had to be like 100 rat, and they were all just swarming around there, and it was just, that's what was moving, was all the rats on the bottom, going from bag to bag and eating all the crap. It was nauseating. So that just disgusting. So you have that on land, you have whatever they're throwing into the ocean in the ocean, plus all the sewage. Like all the sewage from Jersey, New York, and other states and counties actually send their sewage out too. And it just gets dumped out probably a few miles from shore. And then it gets caught in the tide, comes back in, and people like me get caught swimming in it. It's nauseating. Absolutely nauseating. That's why I think I'm done with the water thing. I think I'm just done with it. You know what I mean? Like, it just, yuck, yuck. All right. Well, real quick, on the chat room, let's see. Petriish is saying we need a meet and greet. Absolutely. We'll definitely do that. A reunion, if you will. Absolutely. We definitely are. Whether, like I said, if it's just me that gets on the air, John's coming with me one way or another. He's coming on as a guest, or he's coming on as a temporary guy, and then we'll make it permanent. But as soon as we do get on somewhere, we're going to arrange something, whether it be through the station, through us, whatever, because it's been a long journey with a lot of you guys, and the fact that you guys are still hanging out is just incredible. Like I said, I've been rambling for 2 hours for no reason. It's just missing you guys, and I'm glad that we're all kind of getting back. So let's see. Ed said, "I know that we all miss you and John." Oh, thanks, brother. And then Steve says, "You got that right. Thank you, brother. Can't wait for the show to be back." Like I said, we're working on it, man. It's like I said, I don't want to bitch too much about it, but we realize that it has to be us. But what I mean by us is me, John, you. It has to be somebody that likes the show, enjoys the show, because we're up against, and if people can be mad about this, I was, but then I kind of realized it and put it all in perspective when I heard the names that were being talked about. And then I realized the amount of money that would be talked about. Now, what I'm saying is, I was on this call, and they're talking about my agents, other people, and what they just signed to, and what they're doing, and blah blah blah. He's not going to make that with us. Like, 10% of that is a tremendous amount of money, and I understand it takes a tremendous amount of work to get all that done. So, is he going to be busting balls for us? No, he's not. He's just not. He's gonna. It's if we can get us something and we start taking off, well, yeah, then he'll bust his balls for us because he'll see the money there. But right now, how do we compare with people that are on major TV shows or major movies and just still just very, very famous people? So and like I said, we had the opposite view. We thought since we were associated with that, then boom, that's going to be easier for us to get a gig. Doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. So we have to find a thing. And we're back to that crap, which we all hate. But whatevs. So we could do it. Let's see. Ed says, sounds like the beach in Dorchester. Oh yeah, dude. You know something? Dorchester. Would you go to a beach in Dorchester? See, I went to the beach in Quincy. Wollaston. I always say it wrong. Wollaston, whatever the hell it is. I drove by it every day for 8 years. I still can't say the name of it. And that's gross. Like, it's a gross beach. But during the summer, there's tons of people there. When you see that at low tide, it shows you what that is. You know what I mean? Like, it's nasty, bro. Like, there's nothing but boulders in the water. First off, at low tide, you can see how many. That's why I don't understand how anybody goes in there. You're gonna freaking break your toes. But there's rocks everywhere, and not just rocks. Then there's boulders, and you got to climb over them. The amount of filth. Then the fact that it smells like somebody farted. Like, the water smells like somebody farted. Like, it's just the most nauseating thing to go, oh, that's the swamp gas. Well, then why are you in it? Why did you decide to go swim in swamp gas water? What's wrong with you people? You got the Cape, and if you don't want to go to the Cape, there's got to be somewhere closer, that doesn't smell like ass. There's certain things I ask, when I go to a beach, and one of them is just no ass smell. Pardon me, I'm kooky like that. I don't want to smell like I'm sitting in somebody's fart, all day long. At least it's nice and hot. Let's see here. Let's see. Pete says, "You neurotic? Do you still have food? Your food phobias? Oh my God, do I have my food phobias? Yeah. The problem with my food phobias though is I've been trying to be more healthy, if that makes sense. And I don't even know if it's doesn't feel like it's working yet, but I definitely feel that I've cut a lot of stuff out. You know what I mean? But the problem is I can't replace it with anything good because I still have those odd thoughts. Like I buy chicken, but I can't eat the chicken. I just can't do it because I've just saw what they did to it, or I just saw them pick up a body and start shaving off it, and saying, "Here, how many slices?" Ugh. That's gross. You know what I mean? And don't tell me that's one turkey's friggin' breast. That thing's huge. How? What turkey is that one side of a breast? And you're telling me like, oh, we don't mix stuff. It's all that's bullcrap because then I've never seen turkeys or even chickens rather that big. That's kind of gross. And then, but when you see my head, that's what I think. Hey, look, they're going to saw the body up so I can eat a piece. I can't eat it after that. It just skeezes me. It's kind of like if I go to a butcher and at the butcher shop, they have like a diagram of a cow or a pig. And then it tells you like pork chop, tenderloin. Ugh. Like that's disgusting. I want to see what part of the animal. I don't even want to think it was an animal. You know what I mean? If I were to eat meat, if you were to hand me a hamburger or a steak, to me, that is its natural look, its natural habitat and environment. That's how it always was. It was born a little hamburger. It became a big hamburger. That's all. That's all. That's all. It was never something that had blood pumping through it and was alive and had parents and you know what I mean? No, none of that. No, this was just a baby hamburger. It was a little White Castle hamburger that grew into a Whopper. That's all it is. I can't think of it as having a face. I can't eat it then. It grosses me out so bad. I mean, I like to this day, it's just like, and the smell, to me, it smells like death. Like when you go to a butcher shop, the smell is disgusting, copper blood smell. And then of course you got the psychopaths that have decided that their career choice in life is butcher. You are 2 steps away from being a serial killer if you ever wanted to be a butcher. I hack the body up. What are you, out of your effing minds? The fact that you work with bone saws all day long would skeeze me out. That sound doesn't get to you. The fact that what you're doing doesn't get to you. The fact that you have to wear a white jacket covered in blood walking around all day doesn't get to you. Why does the jacket have to be white? Why does it have to be? Because it shows the blood off more. That's disgusting. And especially when I'm walking around Stop and Shop, can you tell your friggin' fake butcher guys to stop walking around with bloody aprons on as they're putting my watermelon away because they work in both departments? It's disgusting. I don't want to think there's cow blood on my watermelon. I wouldn't notice because watermelon's red too. Nausea. But I do have, yes. I guess the short answer, Petrie, is yes. I still have texture and or food issues. So now I'm kind of condemned to eating mini wheats. I like frosted mini wheats a lot. Like I eat that probably twice a day. And because it's crunchy and it's just a mini wheat. Although, I love watermelon. I know this. God, I'm a freaking maniac, man. I love watermelon, but something happened the other day that maybe you guys can help me with. Okay. And I don't know exactly what this was, and maybe this is okay, but what had happened was I had bought a watermelon, right? And then I kind of got all the good stuff out, and I had the half a watermelon rind, thing, and I put it in the sink, okay? Because I was too lazy to walk it outside to the dumpster. So I filled it with water, and I don't know why I filled it with water. I just kind of filled the empty watermelon thing, rind, half of it, with water, because I was thinking maybe like, it won't rot or something until tomorrow is when I take it out to the garbage. So I wake up the next morning and I look in there and there are these white strands of something, right? And I'm not talking about 5 or 6. I'm talking about there are hundreds. And it looked like if you had taken a whole bunch of cotton, let's say, got it wet and stretched it, and it looked like individual strands of white things. I'm like, what the hell is that? So I'm thinking, is it worms? Like, is it worm? Because if there are worms in watermelon, I'll never effing eat a watermelon ever again, because that means you're eating, the eggs of the worm or something prior. It's kind of like when they did that disgusting thing on TV. You ever seen where they show you like a pork chop, and then they'll like sprinkle salt or something on the pork chop, and then out of nowhere, all these worms start coming out of it? That's disgusting. I hope they salt every pork chop before they cook it then. Because there's some lazy places that probably just throw it on and don't even bother. They're like, look, let them eat the worms. It's protein. You got those animals. You know what I mean? Like, because that's gross. I don't want to eat anything that has live worms in it. You know what I mean? And if now they have taken watermelon away from me too, I don't know how I'm supposed to live, because I'm really down to watermelon and mini wheats. You know. Oh, and my stupid, because I'm me trying to be healthy. My stupid sugarless pudding. By the way, sugarless pudding. I don't know. I know everybody said COVID was bad, but I'll tell you something. I actually would like to thank COVID for one thing. For me personally, not for the deaths or anything. That's horrible. I know other people had horrible things, but for me, it actually kind of worked out a little bit, because I can't taste certain things anymore. Right. So normally I couldn't eat a sugarless thing. I might have been in my head too, because I was fat and I enjoyed it, but I couldn't eat it. I didn't want to eat a sugarless thing, because I'd say, ugh, that don't taste right. I don't want diet soda. It tastes like crap. Don't give me sugarless chocolate. What are you, crazy? But ever since COVID, I can eat sugarless pudding, and there's no difference. There's zero difference. I mean, I don't taste anything. I can drink zero fat milk now. I don't taste anything. If anything now, and I don't understand how I ever drank milk with fat in it before, because one, they're not talking about I don't know, like when you say fat, you don't really think of it as actually being gelatinous, gooey fat that you're drinking. You know what I'm saying? And dunking a cookie in. That's gross. That's kind of gross. So if anything, I think everybody should be drinking skim milk. Get that fat out of there. That's nasty. I don't want fat flakes in my milk. That's disgusting. So, I don't know, but that's me. But anyway, so I've been eating the sugarless pudding stuff, and there's fat-free whipped cream. Tastes the same as regular. I swear to God. Oh, and the other thing, by the way, I'm proud of myself, because I have 3 food groups. I also eat whole wheat bread now. Yes, I said it. Whole wheat bread. And here's the funny thing. I don't taste the difference. COVID has been kind of a godsend, because now I'm eating healthier and not caring about it, because it all tastes the same to me. It literally all tastes the same to me. You know what I mean? It's craziness. But anyway, so yeah, there's that. Let's see. Ed said, me and my friends used to throw jellyfish at each other. We weren't too bright. You would pick them up. You could pick up, because I'll tell you, they're slimy. I know that for a fact, Ed. They're hard to grab, and especially, if they want to hold on to you. But that's, not too bright, but actually very funny. Let's see. Steve said, are you guys still with the agent who shall go nameless? Yes, we are. Like I said, explaining that was a weird one, but it's like I said, he just has a lot bigger clients. He didn't say this. I'm saying this. Like I said, but we were on a call and we heard. How sometimes something clicks with you, like, because I know for years I kind of been kicking back saying, well, we have one of the biggest agents in the friggin' industry. What are we supposed to do? If he can't do it, we can't do it. Like that type of thing. Well, what's going on? And we would say stuff to him like, are we being blacklisted, or like, what's going on? And he'd say, no, it's my fault. And they'd say, whatever. And you'd think he meant, it's my fault, I'm going to fix it. But that's not what he meant. He was just telling me it's my fault. And like, okay, I didn't understand. But then when I heard what he was talking about and the amounts of money he was talking about, and it didn't involve us, I got it. I was just like, oh, I totally understand what goes on now. And it's not that that's wrong. It is what it is. You got to bring money into to kind of move up into the attention factor, but we thought, since we had the association, he would be pitching us, and then, we could do what we had to do when we got on and whatever, but it doesn't work like that. And that really sucks, because boy, it's been a long time of thinking that's the way it worked. But that's why things are going to kind of switch up a little bit. See, my problem is this: when it comes to me going on wherever, one, as a what? Like, I don't know. Are we going to do political? I could do political. It's fun, but I don't think I sound very, Howie Carrish, to name a local guy up here, or, because I know that, you see, and what I mean by that, or like, even like, like Sean Hannity or whatever, because what I mean by that is they all have a certain delivery. They all have a certain cadence. They all have that certain, like, even like Glenn Beck, They all have that kind of certain way of doing things. And my show normally has always been kind of sarcasm. Uh, we talk about stuff, we goof about stuff, and it's just sarcasm. It's all about kind of having fun, but dealing with what's going on, but kind of goofing on it and having a good time. So I don't know if I fit fully with that. Music I could do, absolutely. That's just, I mean, anybody could do that, but you're only talking for like 6 minutes out of the hour. And like I said, it might be a place to start, which is fine. I think that conservative radio is highly lacking in realness. I think that because when Rush is dead, Sean Hannity is such a friggin' carnival act. Nobody cares anymore. You can't really go to, and I know people get mad when I say this, but it's true. You can't really go to Newsmax or anything like that because it's too over the top right wing. Like it's too over the top. You can't go to obviously anything like CNN or MSNBC or because that's just a joke. Fox is a joke. You see the agendas is my point. And there's there's a massive thing about to happen in 2024. This is one of the biggest. We always said 2020 was the biggest election ever, but look what happened. And nobody ever did anything about it too. By the way, that's the thing too. And now you're evil and you're wrong if you question it. Look, immediately when Biden won, I don't know how people are forgetting to mention this anymore, but remember when if you doubted the election or you doubted COVID, they fired you? And these were huge, huge media companies doing this. If you doubted it on the air, they can you, and they did it to quite a few people. That's not the way things should have been done. So that was a really big election, and we lost, and nothing has been rectified since. Now, did you guys hear about? There's a couple up here in Massachusetts. I believe it's Massachusetts or it's New Hampshire. I'm not exactly sure. I apologize, but who just got arrested, I think it was last week, because they were at the January 6th event. And the way they found that out was, I guess they had Apple and the other cell phone companies have been working together with the federal government, pinging phones and seeing, where people were at certain times and whatever. So over 3 years later, they're still going after people who didn't do anything violent. Did they do something stupid? Yes. Very stupid. You shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have won it. Let's put it this way. You got to pay the consequence. Is it going to jail for 4 years? No, that's stupid. Is it, I don't know, maybe getting whacked with a S-ton of community service? Yes. You know what I mean? These aren't violent people. You're telling me, the Dems tell me all the time that nonviolent people don't belong in jail. And yet you put these people in jail and then you try to say they're violent when you have seen even the guy that looked ridiculous, the Mel Gibson painted guy with the horns and the whole thing. He was the leader. He was a crazy nut that was trying to get these insurrectionists all riled up. And then you see the video and he was just some dopey dude wearing horns that wanted to get on TV. And it is what it is. Does he deserve all that jail time? No. Stop it. Stop it. Once again, George Floyd didn't deserve jail time, right? But these people do. George Floyd held a gun to a pregnant woman's stomach. It's kind of what makes me sick is when Merrick Garland said the other day that, George Floyd would be alive today. George Floyd was a criminal junkie that probably would have OD'd or been shot or killed by now. Okay. And I'm not saying that because I'm a racist. I'm saying that because that's real. Like the life the guy was living never ends up in a good place. Most people that, consistently are getting arrested and are addicted to drugs and have the amount of drugs that he had in his system means he has been doing that a while. His body was, abused. Your body can't take that for that long. So would he be alive today? Probably not. And if so, he'd probably be in jail, because he was a criminal. Why are we taking somebody like that and making him a saint when he was a dirtbag? He was a horrible human being. Sorry. Hey, you know what I mean? Do I think that cop should have done what he did? I'd have to look at it further. No, I think there were a lot of things that were done incorrectly. I don't think it was intentional to kill him. Because they all say he kneeled on his neck. No, he didn't. No, not from the video. He didn't. And then when you look at the autopsy report, he didn't. So that's not it. He died of the drug overdose part because he was having a heart attack and whatever. What the cop did wrong was continue to stay on him and not call for help. Okay, that's what he did wrong. And did he deserve jail time stuff? Well, that's up to a jury. But was it wrong? Yeah, absolutely. That's not the right thing. That's not what I would expect a cop to do. I would expect a cop. See, but here's the thing too. This is the problem with people judging cops, right? And unless you're in the situation yourself, and it sounds cliche, but unless you're in the situation yourself, you don't know what you'd do. You don't, and you could say whatever you want to say, and I'm only speaking from experience because I realized what a hypocrite I was because I used to say cops, 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 cops. And then when I was in the Guardian Angels, when I was younger, I was in the New York City Guardian Angels for quite a few years. They had us up in Brooklyn, and in the Bronx. So I was in the Bronx. They used to call it Fort Apache. It was a horrible, horrible place. And it was very violent. And it was during a time where drug dealers ran everything. It was almost like that movie, New Jack City. That wasn't a joke. That wasn't like Hollywood. That was somebody who had seen how it works and, I made a movie about it. You know what I mean? Like, but the amount of violence and the amount of not giving a crap, like cops would show up and people here's the difference between real criminals and people who judge the cops and whatever. When I joined the Guardian Angels, I was very, very new to fighting. I think I had a zero before in my life. I was just a big guy, so I was kind of I was chubby-ish, but intimidating-ish enough to where people just didn't f around with me. So I joined the Guardian Angels, and one of the first things that happened was people came right to me. It was take me out type of thing. Well, one, because I was a Caucasian kid from Jersey and I was new and young, long hair, ridiculous, kind of chubby. So of course we can do that. So I remember getting into a fight with somebody, and the cop is coming. Now me and this guy are literally swinging at each other, and it's sucking. Like this guy could really hit. And it's just I'm trying to hold my own, but he is really good. Like I'm getting one in, he's getting two, and I get one, he gets two. It's like damn, and it hurt. And then when the cops came and they said, "Stop it," well, I stopped it. I mean, I was told to stop. I stopped. Well, I didn't realize in New York you don't do that. Nobody listens to the cops, especially if you're in a fight. You keep going until you get pulled apart. Well, so that guy must have got like, I don't know, 74 more free shots in at my head, in the 3.5 seconds, that I dropped my hands. Like it was incredible. But seeing then, that's, me judging something from not being in it and then being in it was two different things. Like now I get it. Now you fight till you get pulled apart. Now you whatever. So when a cop or somebody is in a situation, remember they're walking around with bullseyes on them. These people, especially back in the day and now, well, actually not especially back in the day. I take that back. Now they're less respected. Back then it was the people wanted to fight the cops. Now they don't even respect the cops. Remember a few years ago when they would drive around and pour water on their head in New York, and the mayor made them take it. And the governor made them take it. They just, like they would treat it horribly. There's no respect, zero respect. So when you have people that go in and judge these things that can't, because you aren't in the situation, it's very hypocritical. And it's always, the wimpiest of the wimpy that are gonna, like Merrick Garland and whatever, that are gonna take the side of the criminal, which is so crazy because once again, they want to put the January 6th people in jail for decades. I got some people doing 48 years. I think one guy's doing over 10. And you've had people who've died in custody, all this stuff. And yet on the flip side of that, you're being told that, anything under murder, really, people aren't going to be arrested for. You get a ticket and you go to court. And what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like they have turned the country over to the criminals. They've turned and then they freak out about crime now. That's the best part ever is when you see like San Francisco, all these businesses are closing and leaving because they can't make any money because everybody's coming in and stealing crap. Nobody does anything. The security don't do anything. The cops don't show up. Nobody cares anymore. So, and they're going, well, how did this all happen? Well, your policies, you idiot. How do you not understand that, your bad decisions have caused all this stuff? That's why, have you seen San Francisco? I like when the news will go, oh, people who talk about it don't know. Well, I've never been to San Francisco, but I just saw a few videos that makes me not want to go. I'll tell you that much. You know what I mean? I'm pretty cool with not going. It looks like a dump, and I don't know if I want to see people take a dump in the street. I'll just go to New York. It's closer. I make it back and forth to New York in 8 hours. See the same amount of defecation. The Democrats have killed all our great cities. And this one here in Massachusetts is trying. Boy, is she trying! This one's what a peach this one is. I'm so tired of this left woke agenda being pushed on us just because somebody had won an election. Nobody elected to change the country. You know what I mean? And that's why when they say, here's the funny thing, when they talk about, like how the left talks about the right now as being the enemy, something. I always said that's not true, but I'm starting to believe it is true. You know why? Because there is a bunch of people in this country that are old school. Like I know it sounds silly. I've never been overly patriotic. I've been patriotic, love my country, always have. I mean, always have. But am I one of those over flag waving guys? No, no, never have been. But I have always had respect for my country, respect for the flag, respect for just whatever. And people don't get that. Oh, it's just a flag. Well, it's respect that they're talking about. That's what you're lacking. That's why you don't get it. That's why people, it's just a flag. No, stupid, you're missing the respect part. That's all. And it's just because, people had died, so you have the right to sit here and being an asshole and say the things you say about this country. If you were anywhere else, if you were in China right now, if you were in Pakistan right now, if you were in Afghanistan right now, Iran, Russia, wherever, you're going to jail. You literally are a political prisoner. You're going to jail. So instead of appreciating what you got here, you know what I mean? You go against it. But you call us the enemy, but you're right. We are enemies because now you're pushing this socialist agenda. Somehow you took over the Democratic Party. And if you don't believe me, just go back to 2016 when Hillary lost and Perez was talking about how, I believe it was Perez, was talking about how this is a new Democratic Party and it's not your grandmother's party. And, the white women that are pro-choice are no longer welcome and all this nonsense. You know what I mean? They got taken over. It's true. They elected socialists. Dumbest thing I've ever heard of. How do you elect a socialist in a democratic society? And I understand people go, well, you have the right to. No, I get it. But it's self-defeating to do that. And to do that, it's a bad move. It's a move to hurt the country. And that's exactly what the left does now. It's all about it. It's all about hating this country. It's all about making us weaker. That's why our southern border's open. That's why people that are coming over, I can't believe this. My head was going to explode. Apparently, unfortunately, somebody died at the southern border. I think it was a child. And the parents are saying, they didn't come over and help us fast enough. They didn't come over and help us. Hey, listen, nobody told you to bring your child to a border and enter illegally and risk your and their lives. That's on you. As far as them helping, we help as much as we humanly can. You see what they do. They're not, there's not unlimited people down there doing that's a dangerous thing going on. Our friggin' borders are wide open. And now since our border guards aren't nursemaids and didn't get there quick enough and whatever, now they're villainized for that. Get out of here. This is stupid. The fact that we still have that border open and acting like, well, it's because the rest of the world needs help. Well, why don't you tell our inflation that and our job market that and whatever? And if you want to talk short-term bull crap that they're doing where they're readjusting numbers to make it not look so bad, that's great. You want to not talk about how the rest of the world is turning away from the American dollar, which is terrifying because that's going to devalue this money very quickly and and I'm talking about, you've never seen before when other countries are no longer dealing in US dollars. Saudi Arabia, China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, some of our allies. This is crazy, and we're ignoring it. We're just totally ignoring it and acting like nothing bad's happened. Well, just keep going. And what they're doing is they're throwing in this weird expectation of failure. That's why the free, everything's free, and well, yeah, but the government needs to take all that. And the government, oh man, where you've elected socialists. And for some reason, they're hiding behind our Constitution, and they're hiding behind our flag saying, well, yeah, you might not agree with what I say, but I have the right to say it. And now I'm voted in, Mr. Bernie Sanders, Miss AOC, these idiots, who got in for whatever reasons and stay in for whatever reasons, which is like when you look at people like Ed Markey, like, hey, that guy's a joke. I mean, come on, everybody. You know what I mean? You have this pandering idiot that will say anything just to stay in power, and you know that. And he's accomplished zero in his life. I'd love to meet that guy. I would love to meet him. Something, and you could say I've done nothing in my life, but something, I could say right back to you. And it's true on both accounts. It's true on both accounts. It makes me crazy that these people, come out and attack us because we don't believe we should have an open border. We believe in a strong military. We believe in a strong economy. Okay, where's the bad thing? Tell me where I'm a fascist. Because, every time I've realized is this country is the most generous in the world, meaning in the 80s and 90s when we were rolling the stock market, people living large. Boy, did other countries and other charities really benefit because we're a generous people. It's not, hey, let's all keep it for ourselves like they try to say, the 1%. Because I guarantee you, the 1% that they're always telling you about, they can give more money than you can even think of. They fund more charities. They do. You know why? Because they can. Most people aren't dicks. Not everybody's Scrooge McDuck. You know what I mean? The Democrats throw out this bizarre uh, kind of like profile of what the 1% are. And that's supposed to be for everybody. For people that are so accepting of everybody, boy, they judge a lot and they throw everybody into a room. You know what I mean? If I have been called far right wing, and I'm like, me? Like, do you understand my entire life? I've always had that hack thing where I've always said, well, I'm financially conservative, but I'm socially liberal. And what that means, and I've always said this, I believe in a strong military. I believe in a strong economy. I believe we should be able to be self-sustained as a country, and we should lead the world. I also believe that if you're gay or black or whatever, everybody has equal rights in this country. We're all made the same. Whole thing doesn't matter who you are. Like if you're an American, you have every right that I have, bar none. It doesn't matter what it is. We all are equal. It doesn't matter, man, woman, gay, straight. No, who cares? That's the way it should have been. But now this pendulum has swung to this other side to where you get these slobs, these sisters of whatever that the Dodgers had in, mocking and overdoing it and bringing and daring you to say anything. You know what I mean? Almost punking you out. Like you're not supposed to say, "Hey, you're sick." Like for some reason, it became unacceptable to tell a mentally disturbed person that they're mentally disturbed. Okay. Back in the old days, if somebody was crazy and talking to a building and putting their life at risk or wanting to hurt themselves, you didn't encourage it. You would try to get them help. Yes, they might not enjoy it. They might not, I don't want to go to a hospital. But you know something, I understand that. But you need to because you're kind of whacked out here. Like you're really whacked out, bro. You know what I mean? Like it's better than doing what you're doing. Like I'm not going to encourage you to hack your junk off because you think you're another sex. How about you go get some mental help for a while and see what's going on with you? And once again, if at the end of it they say, yeah, it's probably true, well, then do what you got to do. But don't just encourage somebody at the age of 5 to hack their junk off or puberty blockers because a 6-year-old told you he thinks he's a girl. It's just stupid. We're living in a stupid time and we're led by stupid people. You know what I mean? It's incredible to me that when you have a country of 300 people, we're being led by the dumbest, what, 100 or two? I mean, actually, what, about 1,000 or so? I mean, I know the sub government really has something to do with it. I get it. I get all that. And don't act like there's not a sub government. Here's the funniest part. I was always told in civics class, which they don't teach anymore, in civics class that there was a sub government. But it's okay, everybody, because a sub government exists if there's a nuclear war. Like if there's a nuclear war and somebody's coming after us, whatever. Don't worry, you're gonna die. You're gonna, you'll die of radiation poison, probably really painful too. Gonna suck. Gonna watch people you love die too. But they're going to be fine because there's a sub government that will keep this country going even during a nuclear war. Even if they cause that nuclear war, they're going to keep going. And you're like, all right, well, I guess that's a little wacky. And you'll go, but that's all you have, Bry? No, I have more. And what I have is the FISA court. Nobody ever heard of this FISA court a few years ago. Don't act like you did. Nobody did. I didn't even hear civics teachers talking about it. That's because they were all fired by then. But nobody knew about this FISA court. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, FISA court's the highest court in the land. They could step over the Constitution and it don't mean crap. Well, who questions them and who overlooks them? Nobody. Just them. Maybe there's one other, but we can't tell you the name of it. What are you guys talking about? This is not what is supposed to be going on here. We've elected the enemy, and the enemy is keeping us stupid. And no, they're not. Here's another one. Why are they still making kids who can't read graduate? Why are they pushing them ahead in class? If I actually heard teachers quitting and saying things like, look, we can't fail kids because if you fail them, they're going to make them feel bad about themselves. Can't make them feel bad about themselves because then, they might hurt themselves and whatever. Then it would be our responsibility. So we just push them to the next grade, not being able to read. This was a problem back in the 90s and early 2000s with athletes. They would take like really talented football, baseball, basketball players, just push them through. It didn't matter if they could read. Who cares? The kid's going to be dribbling a ball or hitting a ball out the park or whatever. He doesn't need to read. And as horrible as that is, they've expanded that to everybody and just push us. So now we went from, I forget what it was, but in math, we're like near the bottom. Reading, we're near the bottom. Comprehension. Well, of course, there's no comprehension. We got friggin' people in major news organizations, NPR, major news organization, put this out the other day, celebrates Father's Day with a pregnant dad story. It's a pregnant dad story, everybody. So we're not going to confuse the kids or anything. We're not going to confuse people in general. We're just going to talk about pregnant dads, everybody. It's a transgender man received a Father's Day spotlight on NPR for giving birth to two daughters in a piece on Saturday, alongside the story of a military father and an immigrant refugee parent. What is this? Along Alongside the story of a military father and an immigrant refugee parent, the publicly funded news site described 37-year-old Caden Coleman, who experienced a surprise pregnancy after temporarily stopping hormones for a top surgery. Okay, hold on a second. So, so, so then the sex that he was having was like regular, not regular, but sex between a man and woman type of boring sex. That's how I'll say it. That's how I'll say it, everybody. So they were having boring sex, but he was the woman in the boring sex part, if that makes sense. It says in 2013 he had just had top surgery, a double mastectomy, and had temporarily stopped taking hormones for the procedure. Transgendered said doctors that told him he couldn't get pregnant, told him this is the world we live in, everybody. Told him he couldn't get pregnant. A few years later, assuming that he been taking hormones long enough to avoid another pregnancy, he found he was expecting again. The article read, "Today he is raising two young daughters." NPR also focused on the issue Coleman faced as a pregnant man, along with the perceptions and expectations of having children. Wow, this sounds grand. I feel bad that I missed this. I experienced a lot of pushback and discrimination with the medical system based on preconceived ideas of what a pregnant person is supposed to look like, Coleman says. You know something? Are you shocked that somebody didn't think this was normal? Are you shocked that somebody took a double take? Come on. Come on. It's almost why you do it. Come on. So you're going to tell me I'm so wacky that if somebody said, hey, in that room is a transgendered man who's pregnant with twins, you wouldn't say, get out of here. You know what I mean? Okay, let me take a look or something over here. I mean, it's not, it is what it is. I had to convince a lot of people that I was pregnant and that I wasn't just a strange man trying to infiltrate the OBGYN's office. I got offered abortions at astronomical amounts of times. And sure, I think that comes from the idea that people think that trans people either don't want to have kids or shouldn't have kids. Yeah, because it's always a victim thing. One of the biggest things that people get wrong is that we hate our bodies, and thus anything removing feminine would be something that we reject, including pregnancies. For those of us who identify more as a masculine spectrum, just because we identify as such doesn't take the desire to have kids away. If we have body parts that do so, why not? I'm so confused. I'm sorry. It's just the concept of pregnant man. Then why with the beard? Like, then at least just don't walk around with the beard being pregnant. That just makes it look a little weirder. And maybe that's just my preconceived stuff. Maybe I'm being ignorant. Who knows? The concept of a pregnant man or a birthing person has been promoted in the wake of politicians and companies pushing transgendered politics. Mostly Glamour UK June issue featured a topless transgendered man in honor of the Pride Month. A topless pregnant transgendered man. Yeah. All right. But that's not all right. Well, there you go. So there you go, everybody. That's kind of like what's going on. So you have NPR talking about things like that when the dollar is about to be devalued by how many different countries? We have inflation going through the roof. We got astronomical amount. Oh, by the way, did you hear that the Chinese army was sending people through our southern border? Now, this is something I read online, so I'm not going to say it's 100% true. I don't know. I didn't verify. I mean, seemed like a pretty legitimate news source. Okay, but I didn't verify. But they're saying that I guess it was over 500 or so, or was it 5,000 like that? They're talking about like a Chinese military that's been caught coming across the border as of late. Well, that's terrifying because there's a whole huge war going on the other side of the world that we're funding. So technically, we're at war, even though we don't want to admit it. So having your border open while you're at war is probably not the smartest thing to do. Okay, just saying. Don't want to be a dick about it, but if you're at war, shore the borders up a little bit. I like how they act like they can't do it. You know how easy it would be? Why don't you just move all your military bases down to the border and like that's where people would train, so there'd always be military down there. That's a quite a deterrent in itself. Instead of just having, I don't know, what do they have, a picket fence? That's our border. Did you see our border? Did you see this one part? I mean, granted, some of it there's not even a fence. It's like they'll use like the lake and say, "Well, a lake like 4 feet deep. Nobody's going to wade through that." You got people going through the, up neck deep, and there's like alligators in there, and you know what I mean. And these people just act like, well, there's a few trees there, that kind of covers that little gap, so we're not going to have to need to fill that in. Just absolutely amazing. But very quickly, let's say, Boomer says the Warriors. Yes, that's true. Howdy from Tex B, this place where everyone is fleeing to safety from our big strong arms. Brian, you're looking somewhere. Oh, thank you, sir. Yeah, no, yeah. Well, poverty does that to you, my friend. But yeah, no, I don't know, man. There's a lot of stuff going on. And as far as getting back just very quickly to the newest thing, if you do go to Google and you go to like a DuckDuckGo and you put in the same type of thing, like just put in LA Dodgers in each, and one you're going to find something that says nothing but like I said, Sandy Koufax, facts, and on the other it will show you about what just happened with the protests and all that stuff. So it's not always what they show you; it's more what they don't. And I think that's the biggest thing with the news and with the internet. And even when they hide stuff, like when you kind of Google stuff about Trump and then you realize the truth is on page 4 or 5, you know what I mean? Like you had to go that far. Most people don't. They go for article 1, article 2. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm sorry, sentence 1, sentence 2. If that, most people read the headline, make a decision to move on. You know what I mean? But that's scary in itself. So, so this is what we're gonna do, guys. I think today was just a get to know you or a welcome back type of thing. Tomorrow, I'm going to come back on and we'll probably do this daily for at least an hour. Not this long, but at least an hour. And I'll try to record some sort of demo tomorrow too. So that will be what we have. So if you have any ideas of things we could talk about or things you liked from the old show that maybe you think could be rehashed for a demo, let me know, and I will see you guys all tomorrow. I'd play music, but it wouldn't matter to you guys because you wouldn't hear it anyway. So I'm not even going to bother. Have a great day. Bye.